reaching, though I don't know how. There was a time I used to know. I lost my bearings long ago. No, this time it's my imagination, my fading inspiration that dances in my mind. And it's a crime that my imagination, my own interpretation, should lead me down this road, and I know where to go. To find my travels as
As the song always says, define those travels as you can. Hi, everyone. Hello, Goglings, Gogorifics, Gog peoples of the world. Welcome to November. Let me be the first to welcome you to November, unless you're on my channel, in which case I already welcomed you earlier today. But welcome to November nonetheless. It is November 1st, 2022. And it is episode 349 of Pen and Pixels. I am your host, Arvin Elleron. This is the show that focuses on story and narrative in games, which we have here every Tuesday on GogCom's Twitch channel. And we are continuing today with our playthrough of Roadwarden, where chat makes the decisions. That's right, you, chat, will make the decisions for Roadwarden. Very excited for this. As always, excited to be with you and excited for this particular game. And just before we go any further, a couple of reminders about ways to support us here on GogCom's Twitch channel. If you haven't done so already, please follow us here on GogCom. If you haven't done so already, please consider supporting us as well by subscribing to the channel here, because that helps all the various streamers and things like that. So that's always appreciated. And if you have not already done so, please consider as well clicking through and checking out our individual subsystems and Patreons and all that kind of stuff that we have on our channel, because that is appreciated as well. So we're here in November, and that means it is an entirely, I hope everyone had happy Halloween, by the way. I should have mentioned that before. And otherwise, I hope everyone is doing well and is looking forward to what I expect to be a very fun session today. November today, we start with Roadwarden, then we are going to, and we've actually got 5 Tuesdays in November, so I'll be on 5 times with you folks. We're going to start with this. Then next week, we've got Talisman Adventures. The week after that, I believe we've got Roadwarden, although the week after that is going to be a very short stream, only about an hour, because I have an interview that I'm actually doing as part of a larger group of interviews that's being done at the Fairfield Theater Company, which is a well-known theater company here in Southern Connecticut. And so I'm going to be getting interviewed over there, which is going to be cool. And it's going to be in front of a live audience, and I guess they're going to stream it somewhere and whatever. So that's going to be great. But that's going to be happening at 6 p.m. Eastern. So what that means is that I am going to be only playing for about an hour, and then I will be leaving. That's 2 weeks from today, and then I'll be leaving to go hit that up. So I'm going to have to stop right at 5 and then head over to be there for that event. So that's going to be in 2 weeks. Then the week after that, we've got D&D with GOG, Ghosts of Saltmarsh, and then the week after that will be more of this game, Roadwarden, and then we'll be moving into the last month of 2022. Can you believe it? We are in the waning months of the year. It's hard to believe that 2022 is zipped by, but it has. And so that's the plan for, at least as far as Pen and Pixels is concerned. And so let me turn on that. There we go. Hi, everyone. That's a little bright. That's a little much. Little much. It's too much. It's too much. Okay. It's been, it was a little dark earlier today in here. It was kind of overcast and stuff. So I had the lights on to supplement, and now we've done this. And so, yeah, the true terror of Halloween is that time marches onward. Yeah, that's certainly true, Miranda. And so anyway, I had to make some adjustments for the lighting, but now we're all good. So I am going to be playing some Roadwarden now. I did manage to do one couple fixes from the last time that we played this, mostly that I'm going to be doing this off of my streaming computer instead of my gaming computer. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm using ArvBot, which is my poll program that allows me to poll chat and stuff like that. I don't have that on my gaming computer, although I guess I could install it over there. So this this Roadwarden is definitely not very intensive in terms of requirements, so I can afford to stream it and also be recording and do all the other stuff just on my streaming computer, because it's obviously fairly graphically simple, so you don't have to worry too much about that. And that way, I don't have to constantly be switching back and forth from one computer to the other when I'm doing the polls, because in the last one, you got a lot of da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, as I'm like switching over from computer to computer. So now it's just on one single computer, which will make it much easier to be able to go from spot to spot. For those of you who weren't here for this, Roadwarden is an RPG where you play a character in a dystopian future of some kind, where you go basically from place to place and try to keep the roads safe for people, and you have various quests that you have to do and things you have to do, and you only have 40 days in which to do it. That is the time frame that we've given ourselves. And so chat has made the decision about how they want to construct the character. Chat has made the decision about what types of things they want to do and so forth. And so we are going to be able to continue with our playthrough. I think we played about 2 hours and 45 minutes last time. We're going to continue our playthrough where chat is going to be making the decisions. So you folks are going to get a chance to do this. So I hope you will spread the word and let people know and all that kind of stuff. Yes, well, listen, I am just the messenger here, Miranda, as I realized I didn't have chat on. I am just the messenger. Listen, I totally believe that I have faith in chat. I have faith in chat's ability to do things. I'm just saying that chat's going to have to do the job. So we're going to see. We make the poor decisions, exactly. No, I've done it on my channel in a few different places, Miranda. I've been doing that with D&D with viewers and stuff like that. I did that actually just I think a month and a half ago or so. So it's definitely been, I've been doing it on my channel, but Gamebooks not as much, because the Gamebook illustrator that I work with has had a lot of personal stuff. So I haven't been able to, have not been able to schedule her to get back with us to be able to do that. At a certain point, I may just start going back into the Gamebooks anyway and skip the illustration part. It would just be a shame, because I, like being able to do that with her when she was illustrating stuff. So we will see. But in any case, yeah, so I haven't done as many of the game books as I like to do. I'm hoping I'll be able to do more of that. We will see. But in the meantime, I thought it was worth it doing this. See, the lighting has been so odd this time of year. Let me just turn this on. Let me get a bit of extra light. And also, and this is just inspiration for all of you, chat. Today I am wearing my shirt that says, "What do we say to the god of death? Not today." And we have a critical 20 on that die. So just to be clear, I'm hoping that will protect us with Roadwarden. That is my sincere hope that we'll be able to do that. So with no further ado, let's head over and let's get that done. Okay. So we don't actually need the Live Gamer Duo today. What we need to do is we have to do this so we can get the polls working. There we are. And then we're going to have the game itself. So bear with me, because we got to make a couple of adjustments here. Yes, more Arvbot Effect Life. Of course, Arvbot Effect Life is the designer of Arvbot. So, okay, let me get that game up and functional. And then I'm going to have to capture it. Okay, there's that. All right, bear with me just 1 second. And then we will capture that on this new setup. Okay. Okay. There we go. Lovely. There we go. Okay, so we have played this game before, and we're going to load the game. Let's see, we had Tuesday, October 18th, 1960. Ah, yes. And here we are right back into it. Okay, now we had just gotten to this inn where we had been told to go. And we had just gotten to this inn, and so now what we were going to do was to start talking to this innkeeper dude and see if he could give us some information. Just in case you're curious, let's take a look at where we are. We have a few quests. Okay. So we have explore the peninsula. Wait a second. Okay. I was like, first of all, I think I didn't hear that right, but I did. Okay, so we've got a few choices. We have to explore the peninsula as thoroughly as I can. We have to get to know the locals, find out how much of a profit can be made here, bring the news to Hovleven. We have to leave the peninsula on the 40th day of my journey. To add worth to my work here, I could secure the roads by getting rid of any major threats and convince the tribes to negotiate with the officials. Soldiers told me about a large village that repeatedly uses necromancy, even though it's forbidden by law and can be extremely dangerous. I should take a look and judge for myself. The village is somewhere among the bogs by the northwestern road. So we have that as an option, right? Then help others. While I'm here, I want to help people make this region safer for the locals and newcomers alike. That was chat's decision to do that, and I fully support it. I think it's a good idea. That's just a general thing, though. Find the Roadwarden. Before I became the Roadwarden of this peninsula, a man known as Asterion used to patrol these roads. If I manage to find out what happened to him and bring the news to Tulia from the southern camp, I'll receive his abandoned belongings. So while we're doing our search, finding out where Asterion is will also be helpful to us. And the last one is Glaucia's band. According to Pelt's innkeep, that's where we are as Pelt right now, Glaucia and her band have broken the truce with the local villages. He's going to pay me 2 dragons if I get in touch with Thace, the mailer of Howler's Dell, and bring him her response. So basically our sort of outstanding quests in terms of places to go, chat, are 1, pay me 2 dragons, try to get in touch with Thace, the mayor of Howler's Dell, and 2, try to find out about this village with necromancy. That's what we've got at the moment. And so we are right now talking to the innkeep. Now, last couple of notes. First of all, it's 13 hours, 30 minutes before dusk. It's day 1, and as you can see, we have 39 days before autumn. Secondly, we have 3 out of 4 vitality. We're doing well there. We only have 1 out of 4 nourishment. We do need to eat, so that's one of the things that's up there to find. Armor, it will stop the lighter attacks, but not for long, so we have 2 out of 4 armor. Could get a little more there. Appearance, 1 out of 5. We definitely have to, at some point in this conversation, maybe at the end of it, we need to get a room so that we can clean ourselves up, because this is going to affect our ability to talk to people. And then last, knowledge. This is our particular character. Thanks to our education, you can read and practice alchemy. So now, with all of that said, we have all of these options available. So now I'm going to pull up the poll. Okay, so we load. Right. Let's see. No, that's the wrong one. Ah, what? I don't know what I just did. I loaded something and suddenly it like activated something, which is not what I meant. I must have accidentally hit something, which is unfortunate. Okay, quick load. What? Yes, quick load. Okay. All right, let's try that again. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is a new question. I'm eating right now. I got that covered. Good, Darth. Good, good. As long as you're comfortable, that's what matters most here. Yeah, I messed something up. I loaded the wrong question. It wasn't. It was my fault. We don't actually have this question set up, so give me 1 second and I'll get that resolved. Okay. So, right. So, here was the thing. What else do you need? All right. So here we go. Here are our questions. So we could say I could eat something. Do you have any leftovers? I could say, what do you have for sale? Do I have anything you'd like to buy? Question mark. I'm looking for Asterion, the previous Roadwarden. What can you tell me? I didn't expect to find an inn of this size in a place such as this. Okay, and let's add a couple here. And then this is about Glaucia's band. Any rumors worth sharing? And that's all I need. Okay, so there we go. Let's stretch this out just a bit. Okay, so that gives us what we need here. All right, chat, we're going to open up this question. So here we go. So here, chat, you get a chance to vote on what you would like to do. We could eat. That would be $vote space and the number 1 in your chat. What do you have for sale? $vote space 2. Do I have anything you'd like to buy? $vote space 3. I'm looking for Asterion, the previous Roadwarden, $vote space 4. What can you tell me about the peninsula is $vote space 5. Didn't expect to find an inn of this size in a place such as this, $vote space 6. About Glaucia's band, $vote space 7. Any rumors worth sharing, $vote space 8. And that's all I need. I go outside, $vote space 9. So please get your vote in, chat. You will make the decision about what we want to do. Are we going to eat something? Buy something, sell something, ask about Asterion, ask about the peninsula, talk about the inn, ask about Glaucia's band, which I have apparently misspelled by accident. Any rumors worth sharing, or that's all I need. Please get in your vote. Welcome, Illa. And as a reminder, chat, too, again, we don't want to take forever to do this, but just as a reminder, we do need food at some point, and we are going to need to get cleaned up at some point. That doesn't have to be instantaneously, but at some point, we're probably going to want something so that we can actually clean up a bit. So get your votes in. How you doing, Vela? For a moment, I misread what Arvbot Plus said, and I thought that it said, I'm looking for the previous Roadwarden Vela. I'm like, oh man, the previous Roadwarden is in chat right now. And then I understood. Hey, Wayman. I was like, you've been holding out on me, bro. All right, chat. I've pulled forth my one allowed piece of Halloween candy for myself today. Well, I may have a now and later, so I might have two, but it's a snack-sized Kit Kat. We a little bit over, we did get a lot of trick-or-treaters last night, but we did slightly overestimate what we would need. So we have about half a tub, a small tub of candy. So I'm going to take the hit and have one. All right, get your votes in, chat. Get your votes in. Here is your chance to determine the future of Roadwarden. Do we want to eat? Do we want to buy? Do we want to sell? Do we want to talk about Asterion? Do we want to ask about the peninsula? Do we want to talk about the inn? Do we want to ask more about that side quest, Glaucia's band? Ask about rumors? Or leave? $, vote space, and the number that you wish. I'm going to last call this. Oh, shoot. I didn't switch it to the... I just remembered. That I'm supposed to switch this. Oh, shoot. That was a mistake. I'm supposed to switch this to the GOG.com colors. I totally forgot. All right. Give me a second. I'll do that while you're doing your votes. I'm actually going to save this as innkeeper questions. Okay. Yeah, once the vote's finished, I'll do it. Yeah, it's no problem. I just completely forgot. And actually, now that I think of it, yeah, I see it. So I just need to start. Right. Okay. Okay. I'm going to have to double check that in just a second. Okay. Sorry, just responding to something. Okay. All right, we're going to close it because Chad has decided. Yeah, the music is good, Sunmilk. It can get a little repetitive if you're in one area for a while, but for the most part, I'm definitely a fan. Okay, so all right, we're gonna say I'm looking for Asterion. Okay, now I'm gonna come back to this, but I need to reboot the bot. So I have saved the question. That is one of the reasons we do this. All right. All right, give me 1 second. Okay, I think I remembered how to do it. Yeah, anyway, definitely loving the music for sure, Sunmilk. Okay, so refix that, which means now if I start this, it should pop up if I did this properly. Yeah, there it is. Hey. Hey, all right. Lovely, there we go. And now, there it is, chat. Look at that nice purple. GogCom purple, there we go. Very cool. Now it's all fixed the way it's supposed to be. Now it's back exactly the way it should be. Lovely. Okay. All right, so there we go, and I'm going to reload that poll, but we'll do that in a minute. So, he says, "Are you now?" He goes to the table and invites you to sit down with him. "I don't think I'm going to be much help." He rests his elbow on the tabletop and grunts quietly to clear his throat. "But I do want you to find him, so..." When asked about his intentions, he measures his words. "Asterion and I made a risky deal. Well, a very promising one. Last time he was here, he took 50 coins. My half of the investment." He knocks on the table with a fist anxiously. "If you get my coin, or at least find out what happened to the guy, I'll make sure you won't be disappointed after bringing me the news." Oh, so Asterion took some money, eh? Could it be that Asterion stole the coins and ran away? He looks at a window and starts to play with a shutter. "I just think Asterion ain't the kind of soul that would do such a thing. For him, it wasn't much of a fortune, and I'd risk saying he'd earned my trust. Not only mine, you know. It's easy for a Roadwarden to make connections. He always had places to go, things to take care of." He rubs the table with his thumb, as if trying to clean an invisible stain. "I've asked travelers. I've sent a couple of my pals to find him. No real news. I know he stayed in the White Marshes for a day and was meant to do something for the people there. It's a village in the northwest. Just stay on the main road until you reach the bogs, then enter them. You may get there before dusk. So, let me know once you find anything, and we may yet return to this whole investment thing." That's actually good news for us, chat, because to the northwest is where that necromantic village is. So that's another reason for us to go to that village. So I'll think about it. Okay. So... Okay, rather not block that picture if I can avoid it. Okay, hi, Birdie. All right, so let's see how this process that I talked about works. If all goes well, this should load the way it's supposed to. So we're going to load from the file. Hey, there are the innkeeper questions. See? So now we've done that. And now, what can you tell me about the peninsula? Just to be on the safe side, we'll do that. Here's this. Cut that, go there. Go there. And this one. Okay. So now we're back to this, and this is the beauty of this because it speeds things up. Okay, chat. So now we know about Asterion, so here we go. Now we've got I could eat something. What do you have for sale? Do I have anything you'd like to buy? What can you tell me about the peninsula? Didn't expect to find an inn of this size in a place such as this. About Glossia's band, any rumors worth sharing, or that's all I need. So go ahead and get your vote in now, chat. We asked about Asterion. We have a couple of other speech things that we can do, like kind of information gathering deals. And then also the business about the, we do need to eat something at some point, and we do need to clean up our face. We need to clean that up too, so. Hi there, Shimmerblade. So now get your votes in, chat. Right now, I could eat something is winning. Change my mind again. I'm going to move this over to here because it's right now it's as long as it fairly decent sized poll with a lot of questions, so that makes it possible for us to do this. All right. I mean, Darth Sisu has reliably explained to me that we don't actually need to eat anything because he needs to because he needs to eat something. You're eating for all of us? Yeah, yeah. Well, I had a little Kit Kat before, and I'm going to have a now and later from the kids' Halloween candy. Actually, from the stuff we were going to be giving to the kids. Actually, I just realized I probably shouldn't do that, should I? I was about to do that, and then I'm like, wait, if I do that, then I'm not going to be able to read. So never mind. I was about to just be like, I'll just have a now and later. That's going to be totally cool when I read. I'm like, all right, so it's different. Good times, good times. All right, last call. I need the calories. Yeah, we have 2 bags worth that are pretty decently full from the kids. And then we have the bin of stuff that we didn't end up handing out. Like I said, we slightly overestimated. Not by a lot. We've had some Halloweens where we ran out, and some Halloweens where we had like way too much left over. But this is like half a small little bin. So, hey, what's up, Inside Out Boy? Doing well, yes. It'll be good for next year, yeah. I did have a couple of pieces. See, it's up in my office because, and this is a direct quote, I have willpower. That's what they told me. So, that's why it's sitting up there. That's why it's sitting up here. And so, and I do have willpower because I have very, very little of this candy. So, half a small cauldron and 2 caramel apples. Well, the caramel apples definitely aren't going to last. Okay. So, I could eat something. Fair enough. Let's see what happens. Do you have any leftovers? Yes, I feed them to our boar. I won't give them away for nothing. He tells you to wait, then leaves the building for a few minutes, and returns with a wooden bucket and a long stick ending with a hook. Hold on 1 second, please, for me. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. How to register on your site? This is, sir, this is a Wendy's. This is CogCom's Twitch channel, man. There's nothing to register for. You're already here. We're all good. Okay. You just need to check that each one of the candies is edible. I got it. Gotcha. So, he was saying, he tells you to wait, then leaves the building for a few minutes and returns with a wooden bucket and a long stick ending with a hook. Go through the gate and turn left. You'll see a bunch of bushes. We need some berries. Bring me a bucketful. You'll be done in half an hour or so. Your horse could use a nap anyway, and I'll prepare something to fill you. The hook is not made of metal or wood. It's a long curved claw, almost black. So, alright chat, we have 2 choices here. Interesting, we have 2 choices. The choices are... Is this borderless windowed? I need to check, because this is kind of... Ah, that's why. Right, okay, give me a second, chat. Bear with me just one moment. I don't understand why we're not doing this, why it's not in, why they don't have a borderless windowed. I feel like every game now in 2022, in the year of our Lord, should be getting released in borderless windowed. Okay. Now, let me just adjust that game capture. Now we fixed it. Now it's back to the way I want it to be, which is so that it doesn't keep constantly blinking when we're doing this stuff. Okay, where were we? Right. Okay, so, all right, so here are our choices, chat. We can either go get some berries and get some food as a result, or say, I won't do that. Do I look like someone who forages for berries? So, very simple now. We're just going to do a vote 1 or vote 2 for this one, chat. So, $vote space 1 means you're going to go get some berries. $vote space 2 means you act like a snob and you're like, hell no, I won't do that. And then you punch the innkeeper in the face. No, I made that part up. None of those things are true that I just said, except for the part of voting. So $vote 1 if you want to go get some berries and some food. $vote space 2 if you want to act like a jerk. I mean, I'm not sure how else to describe that choice other than it just being like, I'm a jerk, you know? Like, feels a little off to me. Okay. All right, chat looks like they know what they want. They know what they want and they're ready to get it. Okay. All right, we're going to last call this. Berries, it's true. Well, we're getting berries for the inn. I don't know if they're giving us berries or if he's making something up for us, because he said, I'll prepare something to fill you. I won't give them away for nothing. Oh, I had some blueberries this morning. Berries are good. I like blueberries. I like strawberries. Raspberries are okay, although I don't love the seeds. Blackberries, I don't really like the seeds very much. Boysenberries, okay. But yeah, blueberries are good. Especially blueberries on granola. Good stuff. Very good for you, too. 5 coppers and rabbit fur braces of agility. Yeah, exactly. That's what this feels like. All right, so option 1, we're going to go get some berries. The tools are cold, not too heavy. You notice a pair of thick gloves at the bottom of the bucket. Ah, the berries are not a problem, the innkeeper smirks. Unlike the snakes. Better scare them away with a stick or move them with a hook. And protect your hands. The little ones won't eat you, but don't get bitten. I'm sure you know how to be patient. Okay, so here we go again, chat. Do we immediately go? Fine, I'll go right away, or I have other questions. What do you want to do? Do you want to say, fine, I'll go right away, or I have other questions? Berries! Yeah, I don't know if we're able to leave and come back and if it would still be fine, but, you know, I'm not 100% sure. Those are mostly games. Actually, I guess they're all games. Some of them are game books, though. Some of them are like, TTRPG game books. So I've got a bunch of D&D stuff. A lot of this is D&D on the first 2 shelves, but then about midway through the second shelf, there's a lot of Adventures in Middle-earth. I got Indiana Jones over there, Cosmic Patrol, Epillion, Esper Genesis. I've got some Lone Wolf over there, some Star Trek, Tunnels and Trolls, Talisman Adventures down there, The Clay That Woke, some James Bond. Got a bunch of individual little adventures. Beowulf is down there, which I haven't had a chance to do. So that's all that side is tabletop stuff and tabletop role-playing. And then that side is all board games and things like that. Different kinds of board games and card games. And we have a bunch more that's in like the family room. These are the ones that are like, that are not like, not family. It's not that they're family friendly, but they're more complicated, you know? And so they're more sort of like games for adults to be able to understand. So yeah, I have a couple of 100 games. I think I counted them once and it was like 225, something like that. Yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, or you know, over 14. It depends on the particular game. Some of them. And then there's a couple of them, like Dark Tower. I have an original Dark Tower down there, which you can play, I don't know, when you're 8 or 9 probably. But that is an original from the early 80s when I bought it, when my parents got it for me in 1983 or 84 or something like that, maybe 85, I think 84. And so, frankly, I don't want that down in the living room where someone could be like, oh, look, like, I don't want to, you know. Yeah, exactly. This is what I was trying to avoid, Darth Sisu. That's what I was trying to avoid. Okay, last call. We're tied up, folks. Tied up. Do we go right away or do we ask a few more questions for these berries? Get your vote in now. $ vote space 1 to go right away. $ vote space 2 to ask a few other questions first. Check Discord. Oh, I don't have Discord up right now. Pulling up Discord. Pulling up Discord. Ba-da-bum-dum. Ooh, okay. Okay. You're right. Okay, hold on a second here. Okay, as soon as this is over, we're going to have something, which you folks will see in a second. Okay, let's move this in here. Okay, thank you, Effect Life. Very cool. I will check that out. I will put that forward momentarily. As soon as we're done with this poll, I will switch that up. All right, chat, let's get a tie-breaking vote here. We've got 2-2 right now. We need a tiebreaker vote. Do we go get the berries? Or do we ask a few more questions first? Need the tiebreaker vote. Someone can do this. Who shall take this next step? Other questions, all right? And close. Okay. All right, I have other questions. Cool. So we will ask for that in just a moment. But first, we're going to close this quickly because we have another adjustment. Okay. All right, let me close this down. All right, and let's see. Here we go. All right, so it's all right. Okay, now let's see. Let's see what we got. Hey, look at that. All right, chat. Wait till you see this. Effect Life just bringing the business, just bringing the noise. Look at that. Look at that, chat. That is a very close. It's a very close approximation of what we've got with GOG. Thank you. Thanks, Effect Life. Thank you. Look at that. Look how lovely that looks. Yeah. See, that's the kind of professionalism we get here. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Right. So there we go. So now we have got a few more questions that we wanted to ask. And so let's see if we can adjust this here. So we've eaten something, or we're going to deal with that in a minute. Okay. Glossius Band. All right, we've got 7, so let's do it. Oh, very nice. Yeah, it's perfect. Now we've got GOG's official colors, so it looks awesome. Okay, what's it going to be, chat? So now we have, what do you have for sale? Do I have anything you'd like to buy? What can you tell me about the peninsula? Didn't expect to find an inn of this size. About Glossia's band, any rumors we're sharing, or that's all I need. What are we going to do? So get in your vote, $vote space for the number you want. We'll ask these questions, and when we're done with everything here, then we're going to go outside and get some berries for this dude. Okay. We have a very broad-based chat opinion on this one, I see. Chat's like, I could see this going many different directions. Someone wants to know if you're going to buy something. Didn't expect to find an inn. Glossia's band. Any rumors of sharing? We're going to be buried on berries. I see what you did there. All right, chat, what's it going to be? Let's get someone else to get your vote in. Great, Sunmilk, great. So now we have 5 different one-vote choices. Yes, you have definitely been consistent on the desire for berries. I don't blame you. Berries are good. Berries are definitely good. Yeah, I'm not really getting a sense of chat so far in this. Not so far. No, we need someone else to change their vote. And or vote differently. We need someone else to jump in. Now's your chance, chat. If you're lurking and you're like, I think I could direct the course of this path. Yes, you can change. If you want, you go $change vote, all one word, change vote, space, and the number you want to change it to. So if you said $change vote, like that, there you go. What do you have for sale? Or I'm going to last call this. Last call. Wow, Blue G, really? Really? All right, we've tied it up for those. Didn't expect to find an inn of this size. Okay, going once. Going twice. And sold. Okay. Didn't expect to find an inn of this size in a place such as this. Ah, so you know a thing or two after all. His mocking tone is soon replaced by a gentle smile. It was built long before we arrived. It didn't work out well for the previous owners. Once the war ended, they left. Not enough travelers, bad trade, the villagers stick to themselves. We, however, came prepared, and now we're prospering. When you ask him how they can afford all the supplies, he runs his fingers through his dark hair. I'm not against running an inn, but we don't rely on guests. We're the ones doing all the trading. My hunters are a clever bunch and stay safe in the forest. In exchange for furs, claws, and bones, we get what we need and more, both from the south and the north. He moves to the window and peeks outside. We have a good life here. We spent a whole lot on armor, crossbows, lumber, spears. But in another 10, maybe 20 years, we'll have enough savings to move to Hovlevin and not work for another day of our lives. We take risks, but smartly. The team is stronger than ever, and I have big plans for us. Okay, so we've got a new choice. So here's another example that's really useful here. Because what this means is we're going to get rid of this now. And I'm going to move this up, then I'm going to save it, because then we have to put in another poll. So that's the beauty. Actually, I don't think this game would be playable using ArvBot Plus, if we did not have this feature of saving polls. So again, good work out of Effect Life for that one. Okay, so we're going to save this. Replace the previous one. Okay, now we say... So we could say, it's surprising to find a purple skinned man so far in the north. Is there a good story behind the inn's name? Question mark. Or I return to my other questions. Yeah, I guess that's true. I could do that. I suppose that would speed things up. Maybe I'll do that next time. All right, 3 choices for this one, chat. It's surprising, is there a good story, or I return to my other questions. Not sure what I make of that first possibility. Not sure how that would get taken. Hi, Pelora. Welcome, welcome. Okay. Surprising. It's surprising. Is there a good story? Looks like we got a vote there. I'm going to last call that. Okay. Okay. Hey, what's up, Arain? Well, you found one, and actually Chad is playing it here too. All right. Is there a good story behind the inn's name? I mean, there's a story, but there is a story, but not a good one. He clears his throat. For years, I wanted to have an inn. I'm just kidding. He clears his throat so much he completely changes his voice. For years, I wanted to have an inn called Pelt, but in my city, it'd be in bad taste. Taverns and inns named with a single word were cheap, had a nasty reputation. There was the Claw and Mugger, Basilisk, and Blissful, I think. The good places used at least 2 words. Empty barrel, a rose and a helmet, Empress's smile. Pighead was the exception. It was a real dive, he chuckles. In my soul, it's still just a pelt. Pelts are what we came here for and what will make us reach our goals. Okay, so 2 easy choices here, chat. I'm going to make this just a single poll, a single choice poll. It's surprising to find a purple skin man so far in the north, or I return to my other questions. So $vote space 1 if you want to find a purple skin man, $vote space 2 if you want to return to your other questions. Why am I getting these calls on my phone? Okay. Finding an Italian accent and a Swedish bartender. Yeah. I guess. I was worried a little bit about like the I was like, what are we getting at with this one? But yeah, you might be right. All right. Seems like people are pretty definitive on this one. So going once, going twice. Okay. So the winner is the first one. All right. I ain't seen a soul looking like this since my ma died, he shrugs. It's not a fascinating tale. Let's just say I wasn't a part of the invasion, yet I'm glad it freed all those who were chained by the cities and their corsairs. He looks at the wall. Is that Yasin, I guess? Yasin. Yasin? I'm Yasin, by the way, but I rarely hear the name. Okay, so now we see the benefit of this, because now we load that. And I believe this is what we've got. Yeah. So now we can ask this next question. This is the way. It's true. It is very true. Okay, so here we go, chat. Again, very simple. You're just answering, or you're just $vote space. We've got, what do you have for sale? Anything you'd like to buy? What can you tell me about the peninsula? About Glossia's band? Rumors worth sharing? Or that's all I need. So we have 6 choices here. So you just go $vote space. Arvbot Plus is making it possible for us to do this because of the number of options. Like, you know, previous versions of this. I mean, I guess I could in chat just be like, tell me what you want, and I could just sort of keep manual track of it. But as we get more people in here watching, that becomes less and less viable. And, you know, if all of a sudden you had 13 people want this option, 6 want this, 12 want the other, like it gets a little much. So that's why I'm glad that we have Effect Life. That we have Effect Life's Arvbot Plus. I'm glad we have Effect Life, but I'm glad we have Arvbot Plus made by Effect Life for that purpose. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. The quick poll option is really useful for that too. Yeah. Affect my life. All right, we're going to last call. Any rumors worth sharing? I like the idea that a lot of this is the way that I would be doing this myself if it were just me playing it. Like, because it's true, I tend to exhaust dialogue options and like try to, for 2 reasons. 1, because I'm about the story. 2, I want to gather more information. I figure it gives me more options. If I have dialogue options, I feel like I've got more flexibility and room to maneuver. So, all right, going once, going twice. All right, any rumors worth sharing? He crosses his arms. I don't like to talk about people who ain't nearby. Show me first that you're someone worth changing habit for. Oh, so he's only going to tell us when we've kind of earned his trust. Okay, all right, that's good to know. Well, then I'm going to open the same thing, but we're not going to do this because he doesn't trust me enough to share any gossip. But I'm going to, rather than go through the poll, I'm just going to open it up again. So, again, what do you have for sale? Anything you'd like to buy? What can you tell me about the peninsula, about Glossia's band, or that's all I need, I go outside? So I'm going to leave 5 up there, but don't vote for 5 because we can't choose that until we've built up his trust in us. So once we get this dude his bucket full of berries, he will stand, all right? After we get him this bucket, he's going to be like, yo, now I understand. Now I understand what you've been all about. Just one sec. Sorry, chat. Be with you in 1 sec.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that, chat. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. They were. I was talking with the credit card company because they were like, "Do you recognize this $500 blah 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 from My Pillow?" I'm like, "What?" And they were like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Do you recognize this transaction for like 300 something for like tote and carry luggage?" I'm like, no. And the person was like, "We kind of thought that." It's like they were like, "That's why we didn't," and then they declined the next two, so they had to cancel my card. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but it's not too bad because this is the card that I sort of use for default stuff, but I don't use it for like automated things, so I don't have to go through and change a bunch of numbers or whatever. But regardless, anyway, so sorry folks, I kind of had to deal with that right away because fraud. So my apologies. Yeah, like I would know that their pillows suck, and that dude's an awful person. So anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, they reissue it. The other thing was, the person was like, "So would you like this regular business or expedited?" I'm like, "Well, how much?" And she's like, "Regular business is 7 to 10 days. Expedited is 2 to 3. I'm like, "Well, how much is expedited?" And she's like, "Free." I'm like, I'll have the faster delivery." I was just like, what? I was like, who is going to be like, "Oh no, please, I don't like it when I get things too quickly." Like, what? I don't understand. Anyway, my company is USAA, which is a very good company, and I've been with them for many, 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 many years. So that's unfortunate, but it happens. Fraud can be a fact of life, and that's why, as Dragonspear said, you should always get fraud protection, which I always do. So yeah, I don't understand. I was like, why would you? Anyway, regardless, maybe it saves them money if they don't have to send it like faster. But I'm like, no, man. So they obviously were like, okay, so I'm obviously not going to be responsible for any of those charges, and they canceled the card and whatever. So, but just unreal, man. Unreal. That's funny. Anyway, so my apologies. Okay, where was I? I was doing this thing. I apologize so much, all, but kind of had to deal with that. All right. So, what can you tell me about the peninsula? Is the answer. Well, that same dragon, as we've often discovered, there's some similarities there too. Yeah, I got this from my dad as well. My dad was in the Navy, and so his family member, I got that through him. So yeah, we had. Gosh, we did a lot of stuff with USAA. Mortgages, our mortgage now is not through USAA, but our home insurance is, and like other things. So they're good company. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to speed this up. Let's make this. I guess that's why Cat Pig. Yeah, I guess it's more environmentally friendly. But in this case, we do need this card. We do use it reasonably often for various bills and things like that, and then we pay it off every month. So I would like it faster. So, yeah. Okay. So what can you tell me about the peninsula? Let's find out. What could anyone say? This place doesn't even have a name unless there's an old book in an archive that no soul knows about. You know what I'd call everything from here to the coast? The hunting ground. He glances at your eyes. But it's not us who hunt, keep that in heart, but the beasts in all shapes and forms. His words gain confidence slowly, which is strengthened by his deep voice. I've lived in this inn for over 10 years now, and I've only seen a couple of roads, a couple of places. It's just, once you get here and you see how harsh it is to hit the road, you have only more reasons to stay at the warm stove behind a wall, even if it's suffocating. He looks toward the windows. I'm sure you've heard a lot already, that the people don't build hamlets anymore. There are no more ibexes from the south, and the traders stay for only a few days. All of our iron is used for cauldrons, not swords or tools. Okay, so now that we've done that, once again, chat, we're going to erase this. This is a lot of set of questions to go through, but this is all valuable information is the thing. So it's all valuable stuff. Okay, so we're going to save that, and then we're going to open up a different poll. Okay, so for this one, we're going to ask, what will I find? Whoops. Traveling west. Are the eastern roads as rough as I've heard? Do you know the way? To Santa Fe. No. Have you ever been to the northern coast? And that's all I need. Okay. Here we go, chat. All right. What should we say? What will I find traveling west? Are the eastern roads as rough as I've heard? Have you ever been to the northern coast? Or that's all I need. So get that vote in. Have you ever been to the northern coast? What will I find traveling west? Just vibing with this music. All right, last call. I do need, I need one more vote here to go with one of the two. It looks like we're between traveling west. We'll get a chance to ask these questions, I think, most of them, chat. So I think you're okay if you vote for either one. You'll probably get most of these questions answered unless he suddenly gets angry. He's like, shut up, don't talk to me anymore. I don't think he's going to do that. So if one of you wants to change your vote to either west or to the north, or, you know, get your vote in for something else, I think we should be okay. But get your votes in either way, please. So we can ask him what we need, and then we can finish up with the other questions, and we can go get this guy some berries so we can get some food, and then figure out a place to clean up, and then go find out what this village, the necromantic village, is doing. All right. Thank you, Wayman Wolf. Thank you. All right. So, traveling west. What will I find traveling west? Well, there are hills nearby. Then you'll find a village maybe an hour away from here. It was destroyed by beasts almost a decade ago. Nothing to see there. The goblins live there now, so most people just travel around it. And they say it's haunted, but who knows? Who cares? He crosses his arms and starts to sway back and forth, gathering his thoughts. You'll get to a large tree on the edge of the swamp. For the locals, it's sacred. You're not used to hearing someone mentioning pagans as if there's nothing unusual about them. There's a small path south which leads to an old mine in the mountains, nothing to find there. But keep riding north and you'll find Howler's Dell set at a clean brook. Farmers live there and mouflons and druids. They'll let you stay for a night, but they're not cheap. If anyone thinks my prices are bad, it means they ain't been to the 8 Bale Inn yet. He lets out a gentle smile. Quick note, chat, for us to remember. One of our side quests has us going to Howler's Dell, so that's to the north, that this guy actually gave us. And another quest sends us to the northwest to find Asterion and also the Necromantic Village. So northwest gets us two possible side, like, quest completion things. To the north maybe gets us one. So I'm just kind of putting that out there. They already did. Yeah, I already did all that, Dragon. They already issued a new card. They canceled the other one. They issued a new card. It's already on its way out. They've already invalidated the charges and confirmed it and all that stuff. So, yeah. And I have a couple of other... I have another card or two. I don't have just one card. I have a couple cards, so... But thanks, Dragon. We're good. They already did that. Nope. I have no idea, Akris. I probably will never find out. The way it is now, these things are so... Not easy, but there's so much... Like, brute force attempts to get people's card numbers are constant and ongoing. And so every once in a while, you're just going to get a fraud thing. It could have been, I gave the card to someone, you know, at a restaurant someplace, and who knows? Like, there's no way to know. I just used it. Just normally, you know, I don't like go waving around the number, and I'm very careful about password usage and all that. So who knows? I don't worry. Honestly, it doesn't bother me in the least because they immediately caught it because it was off my usual protocols. They called me within 15 minutes. I had the thing resolved. They've already canceled the charges. They're issuing me a new card. So the whole thing is like, in a way, no muss, no fuss, you know? So... And they spend billions of dollars actually trying to protect fraud, so. Yeah, for sure, Cat Pig, yeah, that's true. Okay, so anyway, I was just pointing out that other thing for folks. Okay, so I'm just gonna open up a small one here. $ vote space 1 is I nod. $ vote space 2 is I smile politely. I'm not totally sure which one of these is why that's important, but go ahead and get your vote in. It's responding to this guy saying this stuff about my prices are, just as good as the 8-bin or whatever. So $ vote space 1 if you want to nod, $ vote space 2 for smile politely. This is not obviously a big deal, this vote, so. Yeah, that two-choice poll thing, Effect Life, is really cool. It's a nice little addition to ARVBot. I like that purple, by the way. I mean, I guess it's good that I like purple because that particular purple because it's GOG Comms, but is it not or not really a smiler? But or and, yeah, I know, right? Okay, and closed. All right, I nod. I know only a bit about the next settlement, Old Pagos. The soil there ain't too fertile, so they work in their quarry and help other settlements build things in exchange for crops. The forests and hills ain't too harsh, but the Seekers have a small monastery nearby in the mountains. I don't care much about them. They keep to themselves and they don't pay well. The third village is unknown to me. White marshes set at the bogs. I've heard it smells like a griffin's lair. I've heard a lot of nasty rumors about the place, but I won't share them. I don't want to be a lie spreader. So, 3 villages really. Howlers, that's the one to the north. The one near the monastery, whatever it's called, and marshes. Don't let their beds and palisades fool you, though. Weird people live there. Don't tell them more than you need to. You wonder if it's something he would tell other travelers as well. Let's see. Alright, so then what we do is we can drop this, we can move it. Okay, here we go. 3 choices on this one, chat. Are the eastern roads as rough as I've heard? Have you ever been to the northern coast? And that's all I need. So what choice would you like? Did they say something about the west? Is that what this was responding to? Because I feel like this one that we just did was the... Wasn't this one the northern coast option? I thought it was, but maybe not. First answer was about the west. Oh, okay. Good then, because I was like, what? All right, it's getting dark enough. Let's get some light behind us, chat. Let us get some light behind us. Let's go with... let's see. Okay, get rid of that. There we go. Just a little bit of extra light. Okay, last call on this one. Hey, Rudnell. Welcome. Oh, I just missed this. Oh, I gotcha. Hey, Rudnell. I had to jump up to see that thing. Okay. And let's do it. Okay. Eastern roads. Are the eastern roads as rough as I've heard? Pretty much. Don't leave the main road, I'd say. Not so far from here you'll find an old dolmen. A few of my people had to spend a night there, and monkeys stole food and gods from their bags. It was their fault. One of them had fallen asleep in the middle of his watch, but you know. The eastern forests are wild, the roads are rough. Almost no soul lives there. One day all these roads will be swallowed by the trees again. Furthest my team's ever gone was the home of the Enchantress. Just stay on track until you reach the crossroads, right near an abandoned watchtower. From there, turn east. Country roads, take me home. You'll recognize the place. It's a nice home in a lonely meadow surrounded by a wall. He looks toward the closed window, then at you again. Kind of like our walls, but simpler, without coating. She lives as a hermit, Yadosha. I don't even know how she survives there. But if you don't have decent coin, you won't find much there. So back to the crossroads. If you turn left instead, you'll see a road. People stay away from it. It connects the tower and the monastery, a shortcut between the two sides of the peninsula. I was warned by the locals not to use it. It already belongs to the beasts. Okay, so that leaves us with just a nice two-choice option now, which is, have you ever been to the northern coast, or that's all I need? So, $ vote space 1 for the northern coast, $ vote space 2 for that's all I need, chat. Get your votes in. It sounds like a knockoff tent camping supply company, yeah. Oh, you're Coleman? No, Dolman. Right, exactly. I think a dolmen was, you know where I first heard of a dolmen was in the Asterisks comics when I was a kid. Because it was a Roman or Greek thing, I think. Along with Menhir, that was another one, Menhir, that I learned from there. I think it was Dolman. Oh, it says Dolmen. That's interesting. I mean, I seem to remember it as Dolman, but I don't remember it super well. All right, it looks like we are looking at... Menhir was the sign outside the Gigolo Bordello. Menhir. That's funny. All right, I'm going to close this out. Have you ever been to the northern coast? I only know about another inn. It's far from here, maybe a day on foot, a bit less from the eastern side. His eyes once again focus on the floor. I've never been there, but I've heard it's a safe place, close to villages of fishers and hunters, though I don't know much about them. Okay? All right, so now we are closing in there, chat. Now we can do this. 5 left. So 5 choices. Now remember, don't do number 4 because he doesn't trust us enough to give us gossip. So it's, what do you have for sale? Do I have anything you'd like to buy about Glaucia's band? Or that's all I need, I go outside. So get your vote in now for those. Yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing... Yeah. I feel like, because we learned basically about Glaucia's band, but I guess we might ask some more questions of him about that. But this is kind of up in the air for me, because I could see any of these working. Alright, last call. This looks fairly definitive. And... okay, what do you have for sale? I can go and pick up a few things for you. Some food for your travels to start with. Apples, nuts, sausage. Not too many at once, we need to maintain our supplies. I've got an elk fur I don't need. Its buyer was caught by a pack of red wolves. Nice for a sleeping spot, just as nice for a wall. An almost untouched bowl of soup, priceless for a traveler. You can't tell if he's being sarcastic. Made of fine oak ash. Strong, though you should have some better supplies before you start your own bathhouse. Oh, a bowl of soap. That's useful because we're dirty right now. After you mention you'd like something more useful on these roads, he looks down. I don't have any blades or armor to spare, but if you pay well, you can take one of our crossbows and a bunch of quarrels. A yew-bow, wool cords, and the trigger needs just a little bit of oil. It's as good as you can get without soaking it in magic. Takes a bit of muscle to draw, but even a 16-year-old could handle it. I won't sell it cheap, but I'm ready to give a discount to a helpful ally. Okay, so let's see what he's got. So here we go. We've got food rations. Now, we have right now 5 gold, basically. The elk fur is 19. That's way out of our price range. 30 is even more way out of our price range. 2 for quarrels. Got food rations. We have a few of those already, and then a box of soap. So, and then we've got, so yeah. So, I mean, obviously we're going to want to get the berries for him because the berries are the things that hopefully will make him more of an ally, and then he'll give us a discount. But as of right now, the only thing we can actually buy are the quarrels, which doesn't make any sense because we need the crossbow for that. The food, we can't afford the elk fur, can't afford the crossbow. So the food rations are the box of soap. So I'm going to put that up there because I feel like we ought to buy something. Theoretically both. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a poll here, and we're going to see. Soapy Dirty can be useful if you'll need water. Yeah, we'll find that out. So quick poll. $ vote space 1 if you want to buy more food rations. $ vote space 2 if you want to get a box of soap. We have 5 of these, so if we vote for one of them, like a box of soap, then the next thing would be food rations, and we can always go back and buy that again. So we're not like, you know, this isn't like a one and done type of deal. Okay, everyone's going with a box of soap. I'm gonna last call this. Thank you for the follow on my channel, Rain. Thank you, thank you. Cleanliness must to stave off disease. Yeah, I thought about it, affect life, yeah. I didn't want to, like, the reason is I didn't want to get rid of this and then go back. I just felt like this could be faster, so. We'll do this quick. Okay, so we're going with box of soap. Okay. So we got the soap. We've got 4 left. Now, chat, this one's really easy. $ vote space 1 means we buy rations. $ vote space 2 means we don't. Simple. And then we go back to our main screen again. So $ vote space 1 means we get rations. $ vote space 2 means we don't. And we have 4 gold right now, or 4 circles, whatever these are. We have 2 rations, but, I mean, this would be another set of rations, which is probably not a bad thing, I imagine. And they're not going to spoil, so basically it's like 5 rations, which is, you know. I feel like if we do this and we get this gold, then we finish up with this dude, with everything else, like with the conversation we're having. Then we go get him his berries, we come back, and then maybe he's like, hey, I'll give you the crossbow for, I don't know, here's 2 gold, and I'll give you the crossbow for 5 or something. Why no option for irrational? I feel like I should just be like... All right. Okay, so we have done that. The food rations... Okay, you can buy more tomorrow. Great. We're not buying any now. Great. Okay. So there we go. Now we've got this choice. So let me clear that. And I'm going to open the exact same poll. Yeah, exactly. Well, I agree with you, Effect Life. I do wish they switched it up with another one. Okay, you know the drill with this, chat. Again, $ vote space for the ones you want. We did 1 already. We've already bought things, so don't bother to choose 1. We don't need to choose 4 because, again, doesn't trust me enough to share gossip. So it's basically, do I have anything you'd like to buy about Glossia's band, or we go outside and get berries? So get your vote in now. So 2 is, do you have anything you'd like to buy? 3 is about Glossia's band. 5 is we go outside. Yeah, it's basically, it is. It's like a one-line riff on Holt. It really is. And when we got to this other thing, there was some other cool music in there, but just like mix it up a little bit. Okay, $. So last call. Oh, I already did last call. In that case, let me close it out because I think chat's clear about this. About Glossu's band. He freezes, observing your hands silently. Oh, he wants me to get the answer from the mayor of Hallersdale. Okay, fine. Okay, so chat, anything you'd like to buy that's just a simple call. So we need to go get that from Haller's Den. So there's nothing to do with that. So, very simply, $ vote space 1. Do I have anything you'd like to buy? $ vote space 2. We go outside. Yeah, I could do. I don't like doing that though, Effect Life. I like using the music from the game unless it's really bad. Just because it's kind of because so-called DRM-free playlists turn out to be a lot of times not as DRM-free as one thinks. So I do that if I have to, but once we go outside, presumably we're going to switch up the music as well, so there's that. This reminds me a little bit of Jose Gonzalez music as well, for anyone who's played Life is Strange. Have DRM in there. All right, last call. What's it going to be, chat? Sell or go out and get some berries. Doesn't necessarily count. Doesn't necessarily count. Sometimes you can have stuff that seems DRM free. Like for example, in Storm King's Thunder, there is a soundtrack that is based on. There's a soundtrack which is based on a supposedly DRM-free track, which methodically they have been going through and gradually giving me a not demonetized, but just that particular video. It's not a copyright strike, but it's just like now the money is going to whoever owns this one particular song, and all the stuff I do on that stuff now is DRM free. I'm super careful about the music I use for these, so yeah, a claim basically. So, you know. So yeah. All right. So we're going to anything you'd like to buy. Let's see what you've got. Forget it. So different traders are interested in different goods. They'll purchase only some of the things you have to sell, and their offers may vary. So we could sell him a healing potion, and if we sell him a healing potion, we get 8 coins. I don't know. I mean, I'll open this up, but I'm a little nervous about this, chat. I don't know if we want to get rid of a healing potion. $ vote space 1 is deal. We sell them the healing potion. $ vote space 2 is no thanks, basically. I know, it's true. That was so funny to me. Oh man, it was so funny. Dragon, it's so true. Yeah, this feels to me pretty obvious. Like, yeah, I don't think we sell a healing potion. I agree. Okay, that's all. Okay, so now we're good. We go outside. Okay, you step outside. Swift, that's our horse, is lazily looking around. You hear the sounds of work coming from the armorer's workshop. Okay, so okay, what do? We enter the inn, which we just came from, approach the guards, head to the armorer, although we don't have any money really yet, but I go to the well, or go outside and forage for berries, which is what the guy asked us to do. All right, chat, what's it going to be? Yeah. And I do that sometimes for the Gamebook illustration streams, Effect Life. Music's now a loop with 3 different notes. Well, listen, once we get out of this area, all right? So there we go. So well, obviously we're not going to go back into the inn. We just left there. $ vote space 2 to approach the guards. I don't know if we want to do that, but whatever. Head to the armorer is $ vote space 3. Go to the well is 4, or forage for berries is what the guy asked us to do. So there's that too. That's $ vote space 5. Also, I want to check something here. I want to see if, like... Okay, almost odorless. Okay, that'll help us stay clean, but it looks like we're not in a position to use that yet. Yeah, that sounds right to me. We go forage and then go to the well, yeah. Sounds right. Okay, let's forage. The innkeeper knew what he was talking about. You put on the gloves and look through the bushes from a safe distance. It doesn't take long before you notice the first serpent lying on a rock somewhere in the thicket. The creatures are not that large, and even if some of them hiss at you or slither closer, the jabs of the hook keep them at a distance. You don't know much about these berries. They're round and reddish. You wouldn't trust such a color even if you were looking for food in the wilderness. The plants don't have thorns, but the leaves are harsh, so you make sure to thoroughly cover your skin with your clothes. You have to look through many bushes to fill the bucket, but the presence of insects and snakes doesn't allow you to relax. However, chat, we are a scholar, so we have education that can help us. I notice a shrub that's not like the others. One of the bushes in the back has more berries than the others. They're purple, and as you squeeze one of them, you recognize that these are marsh bules. In small amounts, they're added to pies, sauces, and beverages, known for their delicate sourness and sweetness, unique but not intrusive. Still, eating a cup of them will make one sick, if not poisoned. You're surprised to see them in a meadow far away from a wetland. You could use them at an alchemy table if you can find it. For now, you put a fistful into one of your jars. The others are still a bit greenish. Cool. We got some extra berries. I gather the berries and return to the gate. You return to the courtyard. 2 of the guards are participating in a friendly skirmish. The wrestling is accompanied by a crowd. Alright, so we're going to go here. Locked windows make the air stuffy, and the weak fire in the stove hardly lightens up the hall. The innkeeper is mixing something in a pot at the stove. So, you again. Need anything? Put his fruits on the counter. Great. He peers inside the bucket. I've got cabbage stew with a few goose chunks for you. I'd serve it even to merchants if there were any around. The meal is warm and filling. It's well seasoned and not overcooked. And like I said, I rarely have food to spare, but feel free to ask if you ever stop by. You may be lucky, and I've been cooking my whole life. Look at this, chat. We're now nourished, so it's easier for us to overcome physical struggles. You think of Nomi, yeah. All right. So now, chat, do we say thanks? $ vote space 1 means we say thanks. $ vote space 2 means we just keep chewing. What are we going to do? Over easy for our taste. Cabbage stew, baby. That will help us with our vitality as well. Last call here, last call. Yeah, I like the soundtrack. I like the soundtrack in general, but they could have added another minute or 2 of loop to some of these things. Would have helped. All right. So, thanks, we say. And how did that old hook of mine work out for you? I see you still have your hands. Okay, so we have a hook, which is useful. All right, let me get rid of this so that we can save this poll. We're going to save this as yeah, it repeats too much. Okay, so we've got that. Let's clear this. So do we say for this one, hook, I'm fine. Do we say I'd like to buy it from you? Or lie, I've lost it. There we go. What should we do, chat? $ vote space 1, I give him the hook, I'm fine. $ vote space 2, I'd like to buy it from you. $ vote space 3, lie, I've lost it. Could see a hook being useful under certain circumstances. Ugh, 1 second. Let's get hooked. Yeah, I agree with this. Actually, I completely agree with this. We should totally buy this hook. Give me the hook. Give me the hook. Okay, I'd like to buy it from you. He narrows his eyes. Can't you make one for yourself? So we could say, just name your price. I won't have time for it. And I hate snakes. Or it's the claw that grabs my interest, honestly. Okay. What do you want to do, chat? Just name your price, won't have time for it, and I hate snakes, or it's the claw that grabs my interest. Yeah, I'm a little worried about the just name your price. All right, 100 coins. Like... Just name your rational price. Rational price. Okay, last call. I think chat is getting into like the mind connect. I think we're all there. Yeah, rational price in this economy? All right. I won't have time for it, and I hate snakes. If you say so, he shrugs. I want 2 coins for it, though. It's a damn fine tool. We can afford it. We can afford to do that. We can afford to do that. So that would be, I pay him. That's too much. Or, forget it. I give him the hook. We got the berries. Yes, we did. We are one in mind, body, and spirit. All right, chat, what are we going to do? We do have it. We do have the coins. We have 4 coins. So if we use this, it would give... Oh, no, I take that back. We have 3 coins, so we'd have a coin left. And then we have an awesome hook with a claw. Or, yeah. And chat's like, we get the hook! We get the hook! Last call. Chat very clearly kind of connecting together. All right. Cue Zelda. All right, I pay him. He takes them with a nod. Need anything else? I already asked for leftovers. Show me your wares. Okay, so now we go back outside because we've already done the rest of it. Okay, so here we get another example of, this is the benefit. Whoops. That's not what I meant to do. I'm glad I had that warning, actually. I hit the wrong button. Okay, here we go. I enter the inn, which we just did. Approach the guards, head to the armor, or go to the well. All right, chat, here you go. Enter the inn, approach the guards, head to the armor, or go to the well. And we do have the soap. So we're doing well on vitality. We're doing well on nourishment. Armor is whatever. It's okay. But our appearance is bad. So that's what we need to fix up. And we do have some soap now. So hopefully the well's got some water. We do that. Hopefully. Yeah, basically I'm saying we stink. Yeah. That's pretty much what I'm saying. That's pretty definitive, I'd say. Yeah. Okay, last call, last call. Going once. The Briar lack of soup and soap. Which stinks. That's going to change now, though. It's going to change now. We're going to clean ourselves up. Let's go to the well. Once too often? Okay. The recently renovated wooden roof covers the well from rain and birds. One of the guards is enjoying the cold drink he drew with a bucket and tells you to use only as much water as is necessary. The oak ash soap you own can help you get cleaner. You need 3 pieces of bathing equipment to get more out of this place. That said, though, we do have soap enough to clean us a little bit. So our choices are as follows, chat. $ vote space 1. $ vote space 1 means we wash ourselves. $ vote space 2 means that we step away and continue to stink. Apparently. All right. I agree with chat. We need to stop stinking. There we go. All right. So here we go. It is time to wash my shell. Splashing yourself with cold water from a bucket won't take away your smell, but it's enough to remove the tallow and sweat from your skin or mud stains from your clothes. All right, so we now 2 out of 5. You don't stand out from the crowd. You won't get much cleaner without a proper bath, but at least we're not actively, like, awful people, by the way we look. So that's good. We don't need to wash our clothes. We step away. Okay, so now we don't need to go back to the well, so I'm going to open this up again. We have 3 choices, chat. Enter the inn, approach the guards, and head to the armorer, basically. And my suggestion... Well, it's up to chat. I will say that I approach the guards almost certainly is if we're going to leave the area, which we're probably close to doing. But head to the armorer would be the thing. We've already entered the inn a bunch of times, so I'm not sure the point of going back in the inn right now. But approaching the guards probably means we leave, and heading to the armorer we haven't done yet. So that's what I would say. Get the heck out of here. And Pat Byrne Hensick gets $ vote space and the number you want. So I'm going to last call this. Mostly information. We don't have enough coins to buy anything. Yeah, I don't know if we've got, if there's anything else to ask that, you know, without giving him more info, but... What's up, you Christensen? Go to the well. All right. Going once. Going twice. Okay. Sold. Armorer it is. You walk past the well and find a small open shed, not unlike the stable, but with a humble set of tables, carving tools, hammers, sharpening stones, pincers, knives, and other tools. As long as something can be solved by brute force, this place will find a way to do so. There are 2 people sitting on a long bench. The first one is a male with maybe inch-long hair, a cleanly shaven face, a thin, long yellow tunic, bare legs, and sandals. He ignores your presence, sewing a gambeson with great concentration. The second person is a boy, maybe 15, who's wearing the crude outfit of a farmer. He glances at you but soon returns to sharpening a long dagger. All right, greetings, or I wait for him to notice me. $ vote space 1 is greetings. $ vote space 2 is I wait for him to notice me. I wait for him to notice me. What's it going to be, chat? Notice me, senpai. Okay. Last but certainly not least, one more D&D with viewers, or in this case, Roadwarden with viewers. There we go. The sun is fading in the west. Okay, last call, last call. Whoops. I think I did that twice. No, I guess just did it once. All right, going once, going twice. Okay. Greetings. The man raises his head, but it's the boy who speaks, focused on his task. He ain't talking. Tell him what it is that you need. The man smiles in confirmation, looks at the piece of garment in his hands, then looks around, shrugs, and returns to you with a raised eyebrow. Okay, so we could say, I'm in need of your services. We could say, could you patch my clothes if they were torn? We could say, I look at the youngster, learning the trade. I see, question mark. I leave the shed. Or, DRM free. Just kidding. That's not actually a choice. All right, chat, get your vote in here. $ vote space 1, I'm in need of your services. $ vote space 2, could you patch my clothes? $ vote space 3, I look at the youngster, learning the trade, I see. $ vote space 4, I leave the shed. You tried, Vela, you tried. Sorry. It'll always be a valid option in our hearts. Think of it that way. I mean, vote 7. I'm liking the look of those, the heart 3/4 full, the stomach 3/4 full. It's that star where we need to get that appearance picked up a little bit, but at least we don't stand out from the crowd. And it's noon now, 12 hours before dusk, so. All right, last call. Could you patch my clothes? Or I look at the youngster. Learning the trade, I see. All right, going once, going twice, and okay. I look at the youngster, learning the trade, I see. Kind of, he answers reluctantly, but his teacher pats his knee, giving him a harsh look. The kid clears his throat. Yes, but we both ain't masters, you see. That's the wrong voice. There's not a soul to teach us, so once I'm ready, I'll try hunting instead. Fixing things for others is boring. The man grunts a sound, though you don't understand it. Seeing your face, the boy chuckles. You said safe. Let's meet in the middle. Boring, but safe. The man nods. Okay, so now we only have 3 choices, chat. And the choices are these ones. I'm in need of your services. Could you patch my clothes if they were torn, or I leave the shed? Once we get done with the armor, then we bail out of here, and then I think we can actually leave the whole place and decide where we're going. All right, sounds good, Bella. Sleep well. All right, last call on this one. Last call, last call. And... okay. Could you patch my clothes? He shakes his head and points at the uneven seams on his own tunic, then grabs a crude bone needle and shows you its broken head. It wouldn't even if he had the tools, says the boy. But you can try in Howler's Dell or Gale Rocks. Okay. All right. Now the question is, $ vote space 1, I'm in need of your services. $ vote space 2, I leave the shed. Just 2 choices, chat. Real simple. $ vote space 1, services. $ vote space 2, leave the shed. What's it going to be? $ vote space 1 is need of your services. $ vote space 2 is I leave the shed. Okay. Last call. Not a lot of votes on this one. I guess chat doesn't really care too much about this particular decision, whether we're going to get the services or not. Once, going twice, and close. Okay. He nods, points at the laces in the front of your jacket, raises his clenched fingers to his shoulders, then gently spreads and lowers them as if he's taking off a robe. You follow his command and allow him to properly inspect your gambeson. After a few minutes, he gives it back, then reaches for his pouch. He pulls out one dragon bone, shrugs, then another one, and waves both of them in the air, pursing his lips. He makes a few speech-like noises with his empty mouth, groaning what sounds like, I don't know. So we could repair it. Your jacket will be carefully patched up. So we could pay 1, chat. We can pay 1, which would be our last gold, and that would, I think, change it from 2 out of 4 to 3 out of 4. So we could basically pay to get this done, and get it from 2 out of 4 to 3 out of 4. Gambeson repairs. So what do we want to do? $ vote space 1 is we do it. $ vote space 2 is that we don't. Yeah, this is not an easy call either way. Not an easy call. I mean, there may be some logic to the idea that you do everything you can while you're in an area of civilization because you won't get anything in between, but I don't know. I haven't played the game long enough to know if that's the way it is. Yeah, that's true. Go 3/4 and everything. And then, then we'll leave and we'll go get money and do a bunch of those things. So that's the theory. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to quick save this just in case. Okay. Just in case there's something where it's like, oh, you paid me for nothing. You know, then I've got that covered. Right. And they even mention that your appearance can have an effect on what people say to you. Okay, last call. Going once. Going twice. Okay. There we go. Your jacket's as good as this armor can make it. Yeah. So 3 to 4, it will stop even a life-threatening strike. With your current gambeson, it's the best protection you can get. All right, nice. Let me just double-check something. Okay, good. So we already did that. Wonderful. Okay. So let me save this first of all. Because we did a lot in that process. Okay, so we have... This guy's very talkative, I know, right? Okay, we've got everything, chat. We have done everything we can do. So let's talk to the guards and get the hell out. Woman in yellow armor is kneeling next to a brown, hairy boar, which is resting on its side. The beast is not as long as the dark ones from the forest. It responds to the touch of the human's hand and brush with grateful grunting and rapid twitches of a hind hoof. No matter how friendly it appears, it's still tethered to the well, and you have no doubts that its charge would lead swift dead in a breath. When the woman notices you, she steps forward to the boar's disappointment. So, the new Roadwarden. She points at a window with her chin, forestalling the question. We don't need anything now, but when we travel with our furs, we can use some assistance. She may be around 30, but her warm voice and bright smile are camouflaging the touch of time on her unpowdered face. Like many red-haired people with freckles, her skin is unhealthily pale. Damn, any red-haired people with freckles just took like 5 heart damage. The boar runs up to her, observing your boots and fruitlessly sniffing for food beneath the beaten ground. She pats its back but maintains her focus. How about a game or two? We have a bit of time and can talk a bit about this and that. Maybe you'll get a couple of coins. Or lose one. She winks. We could play dice or throw axes at a target. Well, we don't have any coins, but we could say one of these two things. I don't really have time is choice 1. I don't gamble is choice 2. So if you want to say I don't really have time, that's choice 1. I don't gamble, that's choice 2. And right now it looks like it's 115, it looks like. 115, so... I have no idea. I'm not a red-haired person with the freckles, so I don't know, Thorn. Okay, so get your votes in right now, folks. I don't really have time is $ vote space 1. I don't gamble is $ vote space 2. Because we can't actually gamble because we don't have any money. So clearly it's not giving us that as an option. We can't, like, have no coins there. Okay, last call. Last call here. Call going once. Last call going twice. Okay. I don't gamble. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's giving us an option for that, though. Oh, I wouldn't call it gambling, just a couple of games. Her smile disappears. She returns to the other guards. Finding anything fun to do in this hole ain't easy. Last time I saw a bard from the south, I don't remember when it was. Okay. So now we do have a few options. At least he's not going to turn us away because don't stand out from the crowd. So what should we say? Do we say, have you ever been at the heart of the woods? Do we say, tell me about yourself? Do we say, I was foraging for berries for the innkeep? Do we say, I have some questions about this place? Or I walk away? All right. Here we go, chat. $ vote space 1 is have you ever been at the heart of the woods? $ vote space 2 is tell me about yourself. $ vote space 3 is I was foraging for berries for the innkeep. $ vote space 4 is I have some questions about this place. $ vote space 5 is I walk away. So which choice is it going to be? I could see different options here in terms of like what the ultimate impact would be. But get your votes in, chat. Get your votes in. Tell me about yourself. Okay, we have 1 vote for Heart of the Woods, 1 vote for Tell Me About Yourself. Okay. Last call. I'm not taking as long on these votes because I'm trying to move this forward a little bit. So that's why I'm zipping through. So get your votes in. And I know I could set the timer, but I can also just speed it up myself. So going once, going twice. Okay. Have you ever been at the heart of the woods? We sometimes hunt south from there. They're good hunting grounds in the western half. The second one's too overgrown. Maybe the soil's different? She shrugs and moves the hair away from her forehead. But it's a risky spot. There are treants there and wolves, even the furless ones. And if you have to go through the tall grasses, watch out for what's in the ground. There ain't many archers in the trees. She smiles as if it's a joke. But there are all too many worms, even larger than a water leech. Well, that's charming. Okay, so... So now we've got Tell Me About Yourself. We've got Foraging for Berries. We've got Questions About This Place. And I Walk Away. Okay, get your votes in, chat. Tell me about yourself. I was foraging for berries for the innkeeper. I have some questions about this place, or I walk away. All right. Get your votes in. Tell me about yourself. Foraging for berries, have some questions, or walk away. All right, we have 2 votes for Tell Me About Yourself. So last call. Last call, last call. Going once. Going twice. And tell me about yourself. Oh, what was that? After a brief giggle, her voice gets cold and serious. Nah, Roadwarden. We use names and stories among friends. You ain't one. Don't make me tempt curses. Oh, she doesn't trust me enough yet. All right, we're going to have to remember that. We're going to have to recall about that sooner rather than later so that she trusts us more. It's interesting. All right, 3 simple choices now, chat. I was foraging for berries for the innkeep. I have some questions about this place. Or I walk away. Moving through this quickly. We need to increase our relationship score. I mean, sort of, actually, kind of, Darth Sisu in a way. I mean, I'm sure that helping the appearance is going to help a little bit, and then also just doing things for them, right? I imagine is going to be important. Figured out quick save while I had a shot. Okay, 2 votes for foraging for berries for the innkeep. Going once. Going twice. Actually, I should last call this first. Get your votes in, chat. Sorry, not trying to rush through, but I would like to get out of this place and head out to do some exploring. Foraging for berries, etc., etc. Okay, so we're foraging for berries. She chuckles. So I've heard. Don't worry about it. Usually we forage by ourselves, but he wouldn't ask you for a dragon for a meal. He gives small jobs to people all the time just to see who agrees to do them. Wants to judge who's of use and who's too proud for their own good. All right, fair enough. So, very simple now. Now it's just I have some questions about the place, or I walk away. Oh, actually, I can just do that as a two-parter, actually. $ vote space 1, I have some questions about this place. $ vote space 2 is I walk away. So get your vote in, chat. $ vote space 1 is I have some questions. $ vote space 2 is I walk away. Please get your votes in now. Fallout New Vegas Ultimate Edition received. Nice, Milos. Or Milosh, I guess it should be. Nice. Enjoy it. All right, get your votes in, chat. $ vote space 1 to say I have some questions about this place. $ vote space 2 to walk away. Darth Sisu wants to ask some questions. Wayman Wolf wants to get the hell out. I'll check something while we're doing this. Currently here. Okay. Southern Crossroads, right? Okay. Stay a while and listen. Okay, last call, last call. And... okay. Some questions about this place. Oh my god. Okay. Not much to tell, honestly. There are many beasts around, both wild games and dangerous monsters. We spend our time surrounded by these walls, leaving only to hunt, forage, or trade. Okay, so here are our options. We can say that's an unusual tower. I'd expect it to be closer to the gate and shorter. Any interesting creatures? Living nearby. Your group seems to be quite attached to this boar. Not board. Boar. What do you usually hunt for? Boar. What can I find north from here? Have you heard anything about the necromancers? And thanks. All right. Lot of different things. That's an unusual tower. I'd expect it to be close to the gate and shorter. Any interesting creatures living nearby? Your group seems to be quite attached to this boar. What do you usually hunt for? What can I find north from here? Have you heard anything about the necromancers? And thanks. So what do you think, chat? Go ahead and get your votes in now. $ vote space 1 for tower, $ vote space 2 for interesting creatures, $ vote space 3 for the boar, $ vote space 4 for what do you hunt for, $ vote space 5 for what do you find north, $ vote space 6 if you heard anything about the necromancers, $ vote space 7 for thanks. which presumably would be the I should go. That's the I should go vote, basically. So get your votes in now, chat. And actually, you know, what we might do, I'm thinking about this right now, it sounds like chat just wants to gather information, so I may not go back and ask this over and over again. I think what I'm going to do is, after this vote's over, I'm going to just gather information, and I'm only going to ask chat if there's like a real should we go left or should we go right type of thing, or if there's something in the chat that's like, you're a punk and I punch you in the face, or, oh, you're a wonderful person, here, have a cookie, you know? If there's a choice like that. Otherwise, I think I'll speed this up a little bit by going through, because it sounds like chat mostly wants information at the moment for this. So, any interesting creatures live nearby? Ha, here? Everything lives here. She flips her hair. Exactly loot for the brain. I swear, we saw a few dragons, a unicorn family, a battle between trolls and goblins, faced 2 beastmen, oh, and a gargoyle, and a hunting queen shouts all the time. I could tell you all about them, but I won't. She winks and pats the boar on its head. You know, hunters have their secrets. Okay. It's an unusual tower. I expect to be close to the gate and shorter. Like in Hovleven? Fair. But it ain't here to protect the gate. This stronghold was built long before we moved in and not to fight off humans. The tower was meant to be used by those who observe the deep forest. We look out for fires, dragons, and any winged creatures that are looking to roost on the roof. Baldy, she nods toward a man who, indeed, is completely bald, has a great idea and sees well even in darkness. Okay. Group seems to be quite attached to this boar. How could you not be? She crouches and raises the boar's head, but it steps away and squeals as if someone's murdering it. It came with us from the city just in case. We had no clue how our first winter would go, so we needed some backup meat. And it works, too. Cleans the dirt. She reaches out to the beast again, but it trots away. The woman straightens up with a pleased sigh. We hadn't needed to eat it so far, but it's also funny. I learned in my home village that the farm boars are getting a bit smaller and more cuddly, kind of like ibexes, so it's not such a wild, dangerous beast. But we don't let it get close to other animals. Or children. What do you usually hunt for? Anything we can eat or sell. If there's a partridge, a squirrel, or a rat, we don't complain. But when we move as a group, we look for something larger. Deers and aurochs are delicious, but we don't always look for taste alone. There's value in bones, antlers, claws, tusks, things people use to make tools or sculptures. We use some of them to make tools and spears. You can never have enough spears. She pauses and looks at a strand of her hair, then suddenly speaks up again. And we look for furs, of course. Okay, what can I find north from here? I'm sorry, we don't really go to those regions. We stay close to home, only sometimes move south or west to Howler's Dell, but only to trade. They're fine with buying, more than they need, since they then take wares to the coast. She takes a long breath, twirling her hair and gathering her thoughts. You know what? I've never even seen a beach, and I've been living here for how many? More than 10 years now. She giggles. The only part of the sea I've seen was from Old Pagos, which is placed on a hill. I'd never put a toe in salt water. She looks towards another huntress who confirms that her experience is the same. But Old Pagos is a good place. As long as you don't mock their order and act nice, they'll also be kind. Boss says they're too serious for him to stand them, but at least they don't bite without a reason. Okay, you heard anything about the necromancers? It's something new. Her voice lowers to a whisper. I've never been to White Marshes, but over the years we've seen people moving away from the south. Whoops. Ignore that, sorry. Ignore that. They told us the place has changed too much. A priest died, I think, and the new one awakens the dead. Sorry, Roadwarden, that's all I know. If she's hiding something, she sounds convincing. Okay. I'm looking for knowledge about wild creatures. Well, I told you our knowledge is valuable. I don't know. She looks at the boar, which seems to be obsessed with a clump of grass growing next to the wall. 15 dragons, no less. Any discount for friends? Well, depending on the friend. She gives you a radiant smile. Let's say 15. If it's too much for you, maybe ask me after you spend some time around, show us what you're capable of. Or play dice with us when you have an hour to spare. These folks here, she starts to whisper and points with her thumb at the guards behind. They crave gossip. Okay, I don't have anything right now, so we walk away. We've already done this. Okay, so I think then, chat, that we have... I'm going to save it here. I think we've done what we need to do as far as this place is concerned. So, let's get out. Whoops, nope, wrong place. Travel. Okay. So now we do have a decision to make, chat, and that is we can go to the west or we can go to the east. We can't go north quite yet, but we know the stuff that's to the west and the east. And northwest is where we have, remember, the Necromancer Village, and we have maybe Asterion supposedly headed that way. Straight north is Howler's Grove, so we have to get north to do that. And then east is very dangerous, and if we go east long enough, we'll find the Enchantress, supposedly. So here's a poll that we should actually do. $vote space 1 means you go west, and presumably that will lead us eventually north. But the point is it's heading towards the Necromancer Village in Asterion. East means that we're going basically towards the Enchantress, but we don't know like how long it is before we actually get there. So that's what we've got. And he asked us to go to the northwest. We already knew about going to the northwest for the Necromancer. But so $vote space 1 means we go west. $vote space 2 means we go east. So go ahead and get your votes in, please, and thank you. $vote space 1 to go west, $vote space 2 to go east. And I think going forward, I'm going to do that. I think if there's a place where you just gather information, I'll just ask a general poll question, like if chat is into wanting to gather information generally. And if so, then I'll just ask a bunch of questions. That way I don't have to keep coming back to chat. So let's get your vote in, chat. West or east? $vote space 1 to go west, $vote space 2 to go east. West or east? $vote space west, $vote space 1 is west, $vote space 2 is east. Last call, we're tied. We do need another vote to break this tie. So please get in this vote. Last call, last call. Really? Okay. Effect Life, you want to head east to find the Enchantress. Oh, you just chose randomly. John Pritchard, welcome to GogCom. Well, like I said, west is basically towards the Necromancer Village and Asterion. East is like, we don't really have a quest to go east. We just heard there's an Enchantress to the east. I will say one thing. I'm not trying to influence chat, but I do want to mention that he said that there's no reason to go the Enchantress if you don't have any money, and we don't have any money. We literally have zero. So I do want to throw that out there just in case you weren't sure. So I'm not trying to make people go the other way, but that might make sense given that we don't have any money with the Enchantress. So, okay. All right, going west. All right. Thank goodness. New music. The road uphill meanders, slowing you down and forcing you to pay close attention not only to the shadows of the trees, but also to the tight, rocky passages. You can't help but notice a few caves and fine ambush spots. And keep an eye out for any sign of life. The ruined village. Standing in front of the gate, you hear no voices, no tools at work, no steps. Dozens of birds live among the collapsed roofs. Their fluttering, singing, and squawking is free of worries. If you want to travel any further, you need to ride around the palisade. Searching the ruins may take a lot of time. The broken gate in the north will lead you to the village. The sound of a gentle river reaches you from the east, where you see a saggy fence surrounding an overgrown pasture. Behind the burnt building in the east, you see an oddly barren field. So this one does have a couple of options to it. So I approach the building near the field. I take a closer look at the gate. I got music withdrawal, or I move forward. All right, chat. So what do you think? Either we approach the building near the field, or we take a closer look at the gate, or we move forward. So $vote space 1 is approach the building near the field. $vote space 2 is I take a closer look at the gate. $vote space 3 is I move forward. What's it going to be, Chad? What you got? What you got? What you got, Chad? Approach the building near the field. I take a closer look at the gate. I move forward. What's it going to be, chat? Let me get a couple of votes in here. Approach the building near the field, take a closer look at the gate, or move forward. Approach the building near the field, take a closer look at the gate, or move forward. What say you, chat? Have people reached the it doesn't matter stage on the village? Well, take a closer look at the gate. Approach the building near the field, take a closer look at the gate, or move forward. All right, going once. We just have one vote here? Just one vote, huh? Take a closer look at the gate is what we're looking at. Going once. Going twice. And hey, what's up, Easter? Welcome. Okay, so we'll take a closer look at the gate. The palisade is in good shape, and the entrance wasn't even touched by the fire. It was torn away, possibly thrown. The amount of force used must have been huge, but you'd expect that it would push the gate into the village, not away from it. You don't see the marks of a dragon bite. A troll could toss such planks, but after so many years you see no paw prints. A mage? You can't really tell. All right, chat, so we can either approach the building near the field or move forward into the village. Let me just double check something here. Yeah. So approach the building near the field is $vote space 1, and I move forward into the village is $vote space 2. $vote space 1 as I approach the building near the field. $vote space 2 as I move forward. Okay, last call. Last call. And... okay. Approaching the building near the field. Broken logs and planks are charred, while the wooden walls are rotten and covered in moss. You see no ashes or dust, proving that the fire happened long ago. The smell is awful, and there are no reasons to stay for long. You see no furniture, just some broken shelves. It was just a storage room. The valuable odds and ends were already taken by the scavengers. Okay, move forward. Okay, so 3 choices, chat. Do we explore southwest of the village? Do we inspect the fields in the southwest? Or inspect the pasture in the southeast? All right, chat, what's it going to be? Do we explore the southwest part of the village? Do we inspect the fields in the southwest? Or do we inspect the pasture in the southeast? So explore southwest is 1, inspect fields is 2, inspect pasture in southeast is 3. $ vote space 1, explore the southwest part. $ vote space 2 is inspect the fields in the southwest. $ vote space 3 is inspect the pasture. Let's get those votes in, chat. Let's get those votes in. Let's get those votes in. Let's get those votes in. All right, chat, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? I need someone to make that vote. Break that tie. Change that vote. Are you exploring to the southwest, or are we inspecting the fields in the southwest? What's it going to be? Do we need someone to jump on board? Anyone? And Christensen says southwest. Okay, we're going to close that down there. Let's explore the southwest. The buildings, some of which have collapsed, are made of wood, now charred and rotten. Let's move that over there. You spot claw marks on the walls, especially close to the doors and window frames. They could belong to a dragonling or a large wolf, larger than the gray ones. It's starting to remind me of The Witcher. Or a corpse eater. Too many options to make a guess, yet no beast remains in sight. You find the remnants of clothes, furniture, odds and ends. Only one object seems to be of use, a basket-like fish trap made of vines and willow branches. If a large fish swims into it, it won't be able to get out on its own. It's quite large, but I can fit it on my saddle. Nice, we got a fish trap. Yeah, I can see that. We got a fish trap. You feel a slight aching in your stomach. What? Why do we feel a slight aching in our stomach? That's weird. I don't know why I would say that. Okay, do we inspect the palisade in the west? Do we explore the northwest part of the village? Do we go to the main square? Do we explore the southeast part of the village? Do we inspect the fields in the southwest, or inspect the pasture in the southeast? All right, chat. Do we inspect the palisade in the west, explore the northwest part of the village, go to the main square, explore the southeast part of the village? It should be spelled that way. Inspect the fields in the southwest, or inspect the pasture in the southeast? Feels like a beast has been here and basically tore this place up, is what it seems like to me. Yeah, I feel like this palisade sounds maybe right to me as well. Trying to figure out what's going on with this place. And right now it is 2 o'clock, I think. 10 hours before dusk. No, I can't be right. 10 hours before dusk. This must actually be, because dusk is probably like 8 o'clock. So this is probably, I think I miscalculated before. This is probably like 10 a.m., I would guess. For some reason. So, Griffin, could be. Could be. All right, let's inspect the palisade. The tracks of human footwear and many, many more ape footprints cover the path formed around the palisade's breach. As far as you can tell, the freshest footprints lead to the village. The wooden stakes spread on the ground are rotten, covered in mushrooms, small flowers, insects, and worms. A good source of animal or goblin food, though you'd expect them to also hunt for the birds and eggs. The meadow in the west turns into a forest quickly. The grasses in the north surround dozens of tree stumps already covered with moss and fungi. I shouldn't enter the forest, especially not in this area. It's unpredictable. Okay. So, that means that we've got this now. We can inspect the clearing in the west. northwest part of the village, main square, southeast part of the village, fields in the southwest, pasture in the southeast. Okay, so clearing in the west, northwest part of the village, main square, southeast part of the village, fields in the southwest, or pasture in the southeast. And again, we've already kind of done the clearing in the west, so I would vote 2, 3, 4, or 5 if I were you. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Basically 2 through 6 is what I would do. So yes, $, vote, space, and then the number for your vote. And we'll run here for about another 15 minutes, I would say, and then we'll wrap up for the evening. All right, anyone else? I'm glad Geester knows what they want to do, but inspect the clearing is vote 1, $ vote space 1. Northwest is $ vote space 2. Main square, $ vote space 3. Southeast is $ vote space 4. Inspect the fields is $ vote space 5. And inspect the pasture is $ vote space 6. Yeah, it's your fault. Miranda has no strong opinions, doesn't want to be blamed when things go horribly wrong. Yeah, but it's all on you. It's otherwise they just stand there helpless, Miranda. Only you can give choices and make decisions. Only you. All right. Let's see. So going once, going twice. Vote stand there helpless for 40 days. All right, let's inspect that clearing. The meadow is lush and colorful and so dense it's unsafe for a rider. For a couple of minutes you lead Swift with a rope, avoiding the potential disaster in case of a hoof falling into an animal den. Being forced to travel around the palisade every time you get here is going to be a pain. Most of the tree trunks look similar and have a comparable size. They are most likely planted with the sole purpose of being cut down and used by the locals, though cutting so many trees at once, that alone could provoke the wrath of the herds. Such a process should be spread across a couple of seasons, and you can't be sure that was the case. In the west and north, the clearing turns into a wild forest. In the east, you see a road leading north. Okay, so now we know how to get there, which is go to the road leading north. Okay, so now that we have that, okay, so we can go to the road leading north from the village. We can explore the northwest part of the village. We can go to the main square. We can explore the southeast part of the village, inspect the fields in the southwest or the pasture in the southeast. So you can get your vote in now, chat, for which one that you would like to do. Where do you want to go, etc., etc. I think the road leading north from the village would get us out of the village if that's what we wanted to do. But if we're thinking about more exploration, then we'd have other options for that. And it looks like a lot of these choices are about 15 minutes in length. So right now it should be, assuming that it is 8 o'clock, that is when dusk is, then that would mean it's about 10:15, roughly speaking, right now in the morning. Last call this. We have 2 votes for go to the main square. Hey, Mrs. Dunsel. How are you? All right. Going once. Going twice. Okay. We're going to the main square. In every village, the main square is the fanciest area meant to charm the travelers. Yet this is way more than you expected. The houses are as big as in Hollovan, and the paved ground took a lot of work and materials. The walls, now charred and riddled with holes, are made of an expensive coated wattle. The tiles from the roofs are also had to be brought here from a different settlement. You peek inside the 3 smaller buildings, the rotting remains of their former splendor. The birds living in dozens of nests respond to your arrival with quite a commotion. You don't even find a single dragon bone, nor a tool or a piece of furniture left unbroken or unrotten. You're surrounded by bad smells, dirt, animal droppings, and garbage. The well also stinks. It has no bucket, but you'd be afraid to use it anyway. Who knows how many birds have relieved themselves inside, or how many old rats have found their death while climbing up the walls. Suddenly you hear some sounds coming from the largest building. Your stomach makes you let out a painful groan. I don't know what it's giving me as far as this information about my stomach. I mean, we had food, unless they're saying the cabbage stew is bad or something. I don't understand what this is about, but like, we have food, so I don't know what the deal is. Anyway, so we have 2 choices here. $ vote space 1 is we check out the sounds. $ vote space 2 is we walk away. I don't know, Miranda. I'm guessing something, but I don't know. Okay, so do we check it out, prepare our acts, or do we walk away? $ vote space 1 to check it out. $ vote space 2 to walk away. Yeah, I know. Or maybe it was the goose flesh, unless the innkeeper was trying to put one over on us. Or it could be bad gas, yeah. All right, 1 for check it out and prepare my acts, 2 for walk away. So I got 1 for each. Yeah, I should check out the sound of my stomach. I'm going to check out the sound of my stomach. Okay, I'm going to last call this. If the axe is sharp enough. Oh, man. Going once. That's troubling, Miranda. Going twice. Okay, I'm going to quick save it. Be on the safe side. All right, I'm going to check it out. You step cautiously toward the scent of urine and sweat. The flickering candlelight shows you broken furniture, yet no signs of burnt wood. You consider pulling the other door when a masculine voice proves that your presence is not unnoticed. I didn't want to come to this, but stay where you are. Whatever you put inside, be it a shoe, a hand, or you damn thinker, it'll get a bolt. Okay, so we got some options, chat. We can be friendly and say, relax, stranger, I'm a Roadwarden. We can be playful and say, I'm a Roadwarden, so I kind of need my thinker. Will the boot be enough? We can be distanced. I'm the new Roadwarden, let's talk. We can be intimidating. Are you really going to bet everything on a single shot? Don't miss or I'll get angry enough to swing my axe. Or 5, vulnerable. Don't hurt me, I'm not looking for trouble. I'm a Roadwarden. And it's true. Okay, so we have a question for this. Whoops. Sorry about that. We have a question for this, chat. Oh my goodness gracious, we got some raiders from Darksaber coming in. What's up, Saber? Good to see you, man. How you been? What were you playing today? And welcome, welcome. I think you might have been playing Skyrim, if I'm not mistaken. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Roadwarden. Right now, we are exploring a strange, mysterious village, and a guy is giving us a hard time about stuff, and so we're trying to decide how to deal with him. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the follow and such. Falling up mountains in Skyrim. Nice, nice. Outstanding. Okay, hang on a second. Okay, so chat, what do we want to do? We can be friendly and say I'm the new Roadwarden, and say, relax, stranger, I'm a Roadwarden. We can be playful, I'm a Roadwarden, I kind of need my thinker, will the boot be enough? I'm the new Roadwarden, let's talk, is to be distanced. We can be intimidating by saying you're going to bet everything in a single shot, don't miss or I'll get angry enough to swing my axe. Or vulnerable, don't hurt me, I'm not looking for trouble. I'm a Roadwarden. So, go ahead and get your vote. For those of you who just came in, $ vote space 1 will allow you to vote for friendly. $ vote space 2 is playful. $ vote space 3 is distanced. $ vote space 4 is intimidating. $ vote space 5 is vulnerable. So go ahead and get your votes in, and welcome everybody. We're playing Roadwarden, and chat is making the decisions on this game, and we have explored a couple of villages. We're exploring a ruined one here. We don't know what happened to this place, except it's obviously been attacked by some beast. So, what's up, Ace Warp? Intimidate the bleep out of them, huh? Okay, keep in mind. What's up, little Roy Sarasa? Hello, Awenga. All right, friendly, playful, and distanced. If you wanted it to be 4, then $vote space 4. You can actually go, you can change your vote. You can go $change vote space and then the number that you want. So if you want to change it, AS Warp, just go $vote space and then the number you prefer instead. Change vote is all one word. There you go. All right, we got 4 votes for playful. We got 2 votes for friendly. We've got 4 vote, and we've got 1 vote for intimidating. And welcome. Thank you for the raid, Saber. Also, I appreciate it. So yeah, welcome everybody. We're going to be here for another 10 minutes or so as we wrap up this game. Well, wrap up the session of this game. So, last call, going once, going twice. I vote for I haven't been here before. Well, welcome, Strider. All right, playful it is. I'm a Roadwarden, so I kind of need my thinker. Will the boot be enough? Aren't you a funny one, he growls. How do I know a droll like he's telling the truth? Walk slowly, Roadster, eh? If you're not an outlaw, you're safe. And even if you are, don't try anything funny. Leave your arms out. My little ballista here's all pulled and ready. The man's voice is imposing and his accent is tricky for you. He could be from the distant south, but as long as you don't speak too quickly, you understand one another. You don't hear any other movements, breathing, or voices. You lean your axe against the doorframe and make sure that your knife is well hidden. Walk inside. The dense smell of urine hits you with full force, while the tools and utensils are hard to distinguish from the rubbish. The route to the upper floor is blocked by the collapsed roof and loose wooden beams. There are scraps of rusting iron and steel on the ground, attached from now destroyed barrels. The scavenger's sitting on a blanket in front of the tent, pointing at you with a loaded crossbow. Not a short man, though a bit skinny. He's tan, dark-haired, and has seen his share of struggles. There are long claw scars on his left cheek, and another one that would divide his eyebrow in half if it hadn't been consumed by a fire, just like the rest of his forehead. His clothes are untainted by vanity. He's barefoot in a dirty linen shirt with rolled-up sleeves and simple pants that use a cord for a belt. His long beard and hair are untrimmed and tangled. Okay, chat, so, do we A, sit on the stairs with raised hands, I'm not a threat, or B, stand near the door watching his weapon, I'm prepared? So go ahead and get your vote in. $vote space 1 means you sit on the stair with raised hands, I'm not a threat. $vote space 2 means you stand near the door watching his weapon, you are prepared. So go ahead and get your vote in. Welcome back, Wayman Wolf. Go ahead and get your vote. The scavenger's facing us down. Hey, guys, Shield. All right, looks like a lot of people are ready to say they are not threats. Last call this one. Get your vote in now if you wish, if you so wish. And... totally understand that. Dinner does matter. I'm going to be having dinner after this stream myself. Okay, I sit in the stair with raised hands. I'm not a threat. You wipe the dust off the steps, but before you sit down, you hear the man's annoyed voice. Now don't get too homey. It's the only place here it's not just ashes and debris, and I'm not sharing it. You better ride ahead. I already piled up whatever hasn't rotten. The candle lights are dancing on his burnt face and arms. He moves his crossbow just enough to make sure he won't shoot you by accident. I saw you, horse. Maybe you could help me, What are you looking for in this place? You don't sound like you're from the north. Okay, so... what should we say? We could say... want to make sure there are no undead crawling around. We could say, I need to get to know the peninsula if I'm going to patrol it. We could say, I'm short on dragon bones. I wanted to see if there was anything left behind. We could say, I was wondering what caused this place to collapse. We could say, I've heard about some bandits. They could have a hideout nearby. We could say... Okay, so we could say... I'm looking for another Roadwarden. Man known as Hysterian. Or... I shrug, that's not your problem. Okay. All right, chat, what's it going to be? So, $vote space 1 is want to make sure there are no undead crawling around. 2 is I need to get to know the peninsula if I'm going to patrol it. 3 is I'm short on dragon bones. I wanted to see if there's anything left behind. 4 is I was wondering what caused this place to collapse. 5 is I've heard about some bandits that could have a hideout nearby. 6 is I'm looking for another Roadwarden, a man known as Hysterian. And 7 is I shrug, that's not your problem. I'm going to last call this because it sounds like Chad is very interested in what caused this place to collapse. He's like, well, it's when I killed everybody. You will pay. What caused this place to collapse besides me? Okay. All right. Wondering what caused this place to collapse. Well, I won't guess, but I saw many ruins. There's no treasure and skeletons here, so this place means as much as dirt. Someone was barking too loud, so the beast broke through and made him quiet again. He clicks his tongue. And that's that. Talking about nature's fury brings bad luck, don't you know? Listen, he scratches his thighs nervously. I'm hungry. So damn hungry. I can't hunt or fish without all the ape men around. Can you share anything, Roadster? I may be a drifter, but I wouldn't beg if I had not lost my bags on the road. Okay, let's save this as... scavenger questions. Okay. So, just following the group flow. Okay, so then what do we say? We can say... Here I have a few prunes, a sausage, and some nuts. Should be enough for tomorrow as well. Take these cereals and crackers with some water, you'll have a gruel. Lie, I'm sorry. I don't have anything. I need to save it. Or I may have something later on. Alright, chat, what are we going to say? I have a few prunes. Here, I have a few prunes, a sausage, and some nuts. Should be enough for tomorrow as well. We actually have 5 food rations, so we're okay on food right now. 2, take these cereals and crackers with some water, you'll have a gruel. 3, lie, I'm sorry, I don't have anything. 4, I need to save it for myself. 5, I may have something later on. What would you like to say to him, Chad? Hey, Wolfsoul. give this guy some prunes, some sausages. That's good eats right there. Prunes, sausage, some nuts. For those of you who just came in, we've been talking about the fact that we like the vibe of the soundtrack, but it's way, way too repetitive because like they just have basically the one track that goes on forever. Like if they could have added a couple of extra minutes of music to all of these, it would have helped considerably. Being regular is important to be on the road, it's true. Especially if he's got this problem with his stomach. All right, last call, last call. Once we're done interacting with this dude, then we're going to close up shop for the day on the stream. And okay, prune, sausage, and nuts. It is. We gave away 2 rations. Now we have 3 left. We still have 3. Ah, you say so because you don't know my dearth. He bites into the sausage right away, but after a couple of solid bites, he puts your gifts on an unfolded tunic that's lying on the floor. Without you, I would have to run after birds with my ballista, but I need to save the boats for the apemen. And because of those stinkers, I can't roast here, and raw meat makes me want to puke. Thank ye. After a moment of hesitation, he grabs one of the plums. Now, roadsters, he says with a full mouth, if you have questions, ask. I'll say a lot to make you get me out of here. Okay, let's see. Wow, we got a big phrase here. Okay, let's see. I should ask him what he wants. Where do you want to travel to now, and what will you give me for my help? So he's like asking to help for us to leave. This village makes me sick. Tell me about yourself. How do you keep the goblins away? Are you sure there are no undead around? Have you searched the entire village? Are there no hidden treasures left? I've heard about some bandits. Wow, that's interesting typing. Have you seen any hideouts nearby? Or, one more. And we are looking for a Roadwarden named Asterion. Whoa, sorry. What? No, what? Ah, what? What the ah, what the hell just happened? I somehow just What you want? Make me sick. Yourself? Goblins? Undead? Searched? Bandits? And Asterion. Alright, there. You can all see what the questions actually are. So go ahead and get your votes in, chat. I blame this dude. No, it wasn't even that. Everything got cleared when I hit, I think, caps lock. Because I accidentally had caps lock on, and I hit caps lock, and suddenly it cleared everything, I think. But I have no idea entirely what happened. That may have just been a misclick, so I'm not sure that I would fix any. I'm not sure there's anything to fix, Fecklife. If it happens again, I'll be able to troubleshoot it. Yeah. Okay, everyone looks like they're going with Asterion. Sounds like a plan. Okay, we're going to go with that. I have never met him, but I've surely heard this name many times. He vanished long before I got to the coast. At first, people were asking about him. Now, they think he's dead. Okay. So now, chat, we have the following. Good late afternoon. Hi, Rosine. Okay, now we have 7 choices, chat. Do we say, what do you want? say, where do you want to travel to now? This village makes me sick. Tell me about yourself. How do you keep the goblins away? Are you sure there are no undead around? Have you searched the entire village? Are there no hidden treasures left? Or I've heard about some bandits. Have you seen any hideouts nearby? So go ahead and get your vote in, chat. As I say, once we're done with this dude, we're going to wrap up. So I should ask him what he wants. Village makes me sick. Tell me about yourself. How do you keep the goblins away? Sure there's no undead. Search the entire village, have you? Or I've heard about some bandits. Get in your vote, chat. $ vote space, and then the vote that you would like. All right, we have a couple of votes for tell me about yourself. 1 vote for the bandits. Bandits, 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 yourself, 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 goblins, 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 undead, 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 what you want, make me sick, yourself, goblins, undead, search bandits, what you want, make me sick, yourself, goblins, undead, search bandits, 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 oh, 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 oh. Okay. All right, going once, going twice. All right, tell me about yourself. He gives you a sullen glance. What for? I have no legacy to keep alive in tales. I may tell you this and that after you take me out of here. Oh, geez, that's charming. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing, but he doesn't trust me enough yet, so don't choose number 3. So I'm going to open this up again. So I could ask him what he wants is 1. Village makes me sick is 2. How do you keep the goblins away is 4. Undead is 5. Search the village is 6. Bandits is 7. So get your vote in now. We're not going to pick 3 because he doesn't trust us yet. So what's it going to be? What's it gonna be? Oh, what's it gonna be? So it sounds like the village itself is the problem in terms of our stomachs. It's not the food we ate, it's something about this village. Okay. Gonna last call this. Go ahead and get your vote in, chat. Go ahead and get your vote in. Here we go. Votes coming. Votes coming. Bandits, undead. Right now are the choices. Going once. Going twice. And bandits it is. I've heard about some bandits. Nah, I think they're in the north or east. I stuck to the western road and no shell bothered me. Sorry, can't help you. I just remembered that I said last time that I was going to try to gather information and then ask chat the serious choices. So my apologies, I'm going to do that now. I completely forgot about that. How do you keep the goblins away? I got a trick or two to keep me safe. Little something that scares them away, even without magic. I tell you what, his smile turns into a wide grin. Help me get out of here and I'm going to share some of it with you. So I'm just going to make these choices, chat, because this is gathering information. So, you sure there's no undead around? He nods. I've seen none. People say it's been less than 10 years since the herds came here, but I don't know if anyone bothered with raising the pyres. If not, the dead are all roaming in the forest now. He clicks his tongue with frustration. It may be that there's a walker somewhere under the debris waiting to break through like a dragon in an egg. He looks straight at you. Ah, you better not dig. You search the entire village? You came to the wrong place. Time, moisture, and the damn borers devoured all the loot. I've been here for a couple of days now, and all that's left is this iron I carried here. I was planning to get back here with some hired muscle and clear the collapsed buildings, but I doubt it's worth the time and risk. This village makes you sick? Me too, and the guts and the thinker. Gets easier with time if you're patient. Must be the air, the smell of death. Death and ape men piss. He pats his stomach while laughing. All right, well, where do you want to travel to? Let me explain first, eh? I was in Howler's Dell, the closest village to the east and north, and people there are nice, you know. Not like an old Pagos, they're all boring and grimmer than a crow. But they cry coin for everything, and damn good coin. I left, wanted to look around the ruins, see if there's anything left, then moved to Pelt and hire the hunters to help me here. No luck. A bunch of griffs jumped my pack bird. I just bought it. He spits on the floor. Fast and nimble, but not brave enough to listen to me when all that screeching and scratching started. So it ran away with my bags. A few fell on the ground and I pulled them here, but you see how it is. I won't travel around with a tent on my back. He taps the crossbow with his fingers. I need maybe a day more, aye, just a day, and I'll have all the iron scrapped from the barrels so I can move forward. But I can't take all my stuff alone, and without me around, the ape men are going to break in and steal all my shit. I need to stay here, but since you have a horse, come back tomorrow and help me return to Howler's Dell. How about it? I just need to know that the road is safe as it can be, I mean. What exactly do you want me to do? I need you to make sure there's no danger hiding on the road from here to Howler's. Or rather, I know there is some danger, but as long as you can get there and safely return, I'm sure we can handle some roaming monsters. He theatrically rubs his hands together. This ballista's hit more beast skulls than I have fingers, and I've never lost a finger, Roadster. Only the toes. Maybe to prove it, he starts to count on his fingers. So, see if the road there's clear. Then come here tomorrow, we'll pack my stuff on your horse and move out. But don't come when it's close to evening. We're going to need 3 hours on our feet, and I won't push through the night. Even sleeping next to an ape-men tribe is safer, he chuckles. And don't make me wait for too long. I can wait for a couple of days if I find some food, but if you don't get back, I'll have to risk it no matter what. Why Howler's Dell? If you want to go south, we should travel to Pelt to the north. I mean, I see a point, but I've never been there. Can they afford my iron? Do they have means to pay for it? I need coins to find a handy bunch that'll walk south with me, and I need a new staff and bolts. I know the village, it's a nice place, and even has a smithy of sorts. I'm answering these questions without asking chat because, again, this is all just like building information so far. I had a chance to take a look, though. It's a large inn, a safe one. They seem to be rich and have enough hunters to guide you south. You can use iron to barter. Well, it's a shorter path, I guess. Fewer spots to get surrounded by corpsers. If you're sure it's the best option, fine. I'll trust a roadster's judgment. I don't work for free. I have ways to pay you, don't you worry. I can give you dragons, but I'll have to sell the iron first, so I'll need a bit of time, you see. 5 for a short escort would be plenty, I'd say. But if you want, I'll give you a secret jar of mine, a very fine mixture that scares ape-men away. Works on pebblers, too. When you ask if all this stench of urine is somehow related to this potion, he just winks and chuckles. Alright, so again, we're gathering information. He seems surprised. I mean, aye, sure, but I don't have connections there, just my eyes. He starts to hum. You know, a longer pause. When you get to Howler's, you'll meet the mayor there for sure, Thace. And whatever you do, don't ask her where she got her coins from, eh? Thace is the person we're supposed to meet for the innkeeper as well. She's rich, stupid rich, but don't ask how this happened. Trust me. He scratches his beard with a mournful look. All right, so now we've come to a place where chat can make a decision. Chat, do you want to say, fine, it's a deal, I'm going to escort you? Or do you want to say, I need to think about it? $ vote space 1 means we escort the guy. $ vote space 2 says we don't. So what do you think? $ vote space 1. And I think this is how we'll do this. Zip through these so that the most important choices are saved for chat. I think that'll move things faster. Because I'm really enjoying this, but I don't want to slow it down too much. So, okay. Fine, it's a deal. I'm going to escort you, or I need to think about it. Last call, going once, going twice. Okay, so we are going to escort him. Thanks, Roadster. Just come tomorrow and make it worth your time. All right, so we leave. Okay, so now we can get rid of that. So we'll be going back to the scavenger's camp, but we're not supposed to do that until tomorrow. And actually, if we look at the journal... Yeah, on day 1, I met another scavenger, the ruined villager at the southern road. Wants me to escort him to the village of Howler's Dell. Needs another day to gather his things, prepare the iron he's gathered. Asked me to return tomorrow at least 3 hours before the dusk. But before I do, I need to make sure the route leading to Howler's Dell isn't blocked by obstacles, or I can take him to Pelt. And for my help, he offers me either dragon bones or a mixture that scares ape men away. Okay, so when we start the next time, and let me load up the... Okay, let me just make this question. So next time what we're going to do is... we'll be able to choose between returning to the scavenger's camp we'll be able to go to the road leading north. We'll be able to look around the northern gate. We'll be able to explore the... explore the northwest part of the village. We'll be able to explore the northeast part of the village. We'll be able to explore the southeast part of the village. We'll be able to inspect the fields in the southwest, or inspect the pasture in the southeast. So that's what we will have up next, and we're going to save this poll. Or save this series of questions, Ruined Village. Outside. And that way we'll be able to come right back to this when the time comes. But right now, chat, pretty good though. 3 out of 4 vitality, 3 out of 4 nourishment, 3 out of 4 armor, 2 out of 5 appearance, could be better, whatever. Knowledge. It's about it's 9 hours and 45 minutes before dusk on the 39th day, etc., etc. And now, I think... no, not yet. I want to check my character sheet. You can see here, cleanliness 2 out of 3. Regular vitality, blah, blah, blah. +2 because of... you lose cleanliness when you sleep or engage in tiresome activities. Can wash yourself in safe water sources. Based on cleanliness, vitality, and outfit. We are a seeker. And yeah. Whoops. No, I don't. I want to save it, actually, is what I want to do. I saved that, but I also need to save this. That would have been a problem. Whoops. There we go. And quick save. And quit. Okay. Good stuff, chat. Good stuff. Let's see. We are now up to syncing that up. We have now played for Roadwarden for 6 hours, and we'll be able to play more. But I think now that I'm doing it that way, it's also going to move forward quickly. I like it, but it's definitely something that we will need to move forward a little faster than my asking chat everything, which was clearly too slow. I don't want to do it that slowly. So we helped a person. Yes, we did. And we will, and the next time, like I say, we will help more, for sure. Like we will do more of that going forward. But, and that is true, actually, it is our job to help people now that I think of it. We did say that. So, okay, but that is going to do it for me, chat. I got to rise up on out of here, and go get some dinner. And I imagine some of you may need to do the same thing. But I hope you folks enjoyed it, and that you're going to look forward to more of it, as I am going to be looking forward to that. But that's going to be happening in a little while. Next week on this channel during Pen and Pixels, we'll be playing Talisman Adventures. The week after that, we'll be back to Roadwarden. But in 2 weeks, it's going to be a very short stream, only like an hour, because I'm going to be doing that, and then I'm going to an interview. I'm going to be meeting, I'm doing an interview here at the Fairfield Theater Company, which is an off-Broadway theater that is doing a series of interviews with creatives. So I'm going to be interviewed as an author and a Twitch streamer and a game master and stuff like that. So that's going to be good times, and that's going to be happening at 6 p.m. Eastern in 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks is just going to be like an hour, and then we're going to be heading off to do that. It's going to be in front of a live audience, and I gather they're going to stream it as well. Not stream it on Twitch, or at least not on my channel or GOG that I know of, but they're going to stream it somewhere. So that's cool. And if I have any more details, I'll tell you about that. Then the week after that is going to be D&D with GOG Ghosts of Saltmarsh. And the weekend after that, or the week after that, because there's 5 Tuesdays in November, I am going to be doing a full session of Roadwarden. So that's what we've got going on. So it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. If you like what you saw and heard, thank you, Wayman, and thank you, Christensen. If you like what you saw and heard, can you show the latest picture that I sent you? Ooh. Oh, wow. Yeah, sure. Check this out. Hold on a second. I'm going to put this into studio mode just in case. I don't want to reveal anything suddenly. So this is what Effect Life has got on the docket on the GOG.com item. Here you go. Check this out. Very cool. Look at that. So there we go. That's going to be like a specific, there's some other stuff that's it's a work in progress, but it'll have an extra little, some extra little stuff. So that's cool. We will be doing that. And like I say, because I'm figuring out in my head, this was an experiment when I started this a couple weeks ago with Roadwarden. And now that I'm starting to get into it, I think it does work, but it needs to be with me asking fewer questions of chat that are more important ones. So that's why I am going to still do it this way, but I'm going to do it where I'm going to do more of it on my own if it's just like gathering information. But like where we just were, where you want to go in the village, that is something I'm going to ask you. So looks really good. Yeah, totally agree. It looks really good, Effect Life. I'm excited to get use of that down the line when we've had a chance to do it. So it's going to be good. If you like what you saw and heard, please follow the channel. Please check out our YouTube. Please as well subscribe to us here on GOG.com's Twitch channel, because that gets you those awesome DRM-free emotes to use everywhere across Twitch and elsewhere. And if you haven't already done so, please consider clicking through to our individual channels, where you can support us by checking out our individual subsystems and Patreons and stuff like that. I will be back on my own channel on Friday evening with the premiere of ActRaiser. I have played this game, of course, back in the day, but I have an original ActRaiser cartridge. I'm going to be playing it on my Retron 5, and I will be doing that Friday night. That's going to be a couple of sessions of ActRaiser, and then after that, we're going to be moving into Ghost of Tsushima, which is going to be on my PS5. But we're going to have a couple of sessions, maybe 3 at the most, of ActRaiser, and then Ghost of Tsushima after that. So you can join me on my channel Friday. No, not the remake. I am not crazy about the graphic style of the remake, actually, and I wanted to play the original of it. So yeah, it's going to be good. So ActRaiser on Friday. Saturday we have some Saturday I believe we've got Eberron, he said uncertainly. Let me just double check. I think on Saturday on my channel I've got today. No, I've got ActRaiser actually. So I've got ActRaiser Friday and Saturday. So there's a good chance this is an ActRaiser weekend. So I'll have that finished hopefully by next week, and then we'll be moving into the premiere of Ghost of Tsushima after that. So that should be a good time. So yes, ActRaiser, and in fact, let me edit that right now. So that I can make sure that I have that in there. So that's going to be happening on Friday on my channel. As for us over here, tomorrow we're going to have Darksaber. And by the way, I started about 10 minutes after because I was having technical problems with the game, but I got it working. But I know that this is off in terms of daylight savings for folks. So you may have noticed that I was starting, I think, probably an hour later than you would expect me to if you were in different time zones. We switch our time here in the States for back again. So we gain an hour this Sunday. So as of this Sunday, because of this nonsense of continuing to jump back and forth with time. So as of next week, we'll be back to normal. So I'll be back at my normal time of 4 p.m. Eastern next week, which would be normal for all of you folks who are checking this out from a different time zone, just in case you're curious. But otherwise, tomorrow, Darksaber will be with you at, I believe it is 5 p.m. Eastern, if I'm not mistaken, with something cool. I actually don't know I don't know if Darksaber is still here or if he bailed out. I'm not sure what Darksaber is playing, but he's a good streamer, of course, and you should always check out what he plays. And I appreciate that he rated us today, too. So yeah, that's the deal with that. Really enjoyed this today, and I'm looking forward to more of this game in a couple of weeks, and then especially a full session at the end. Oh, Skyrim tomorrow? Okay, cool. So probably Skyrim tomorrow from Darksaber. You should definitely be back here for that. Otherwise, I'll be back on my channel Friday and Saturday with some ActRaiser, and right back here next Tuesday, chat, for episode 350 350 next Tuesday of Pen and Pixels as we play some Talisman Adventures. So that's going to be cool. Kind of a semi-milestone, right? 350 episodes. It's a lot. It's been a while, almost a year's worth of shows, right? If you were to watch one every day. So, but that's going to do it for me. Thank you all for being here. Thank you so much. Follow the channel, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to us individually. And otherwise, thanks everyone. I'll see you folks on my channel on Friday. Definitely stop back here tomorrow for Darksaber 2K, and I'll be back on this channel again next week with Darksaber and others. Undeveloped Bruce, and Pyron Jade, Darksaber 2K, Undeveloped Bruce, Pyron Jade, and Peripheral Mike for Talisman Adventures. So definitely stop by for all of that. But I'll see you folks soon. Thanks, everyone, and much love. I'll catch you all soon. Until then, everyone, please be good to each other, and have a good night.